if I was captain. Silver children, she roared, I'm not the son of God. Somebody help me sing. Can anybody hear me? Liars and lovers combine tonight. We're gonna make a scene. Somebody help me sing. Whoa. Somebody help me sing. Whoa. Help me be captain of our crippled disguises. I won't show what's underneath. It's time for surprises. I can't climb up your ladder. I can't ride your horse. I've swallowed half an hourglass, so now the landscape is swollen up. I get burned to a fire. It's like his features were burning. I'm in control. I am the son of God. Somebody help me sing. Can anybody hear me? Line up your soldiers one final time. We're gonna have a ball. Somebody help me sing. Whoa. Somebody help me sing. Whoa. Help me be captain of our crippled disguises. I won't show what's underneath. It's time for surprises. I can't climb up your ladder. I can't ride your horse. I've swallowed half an hourglass, so now the landscape is swollen up. Let's lock death away. 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 Let's lock death away.
Hail, hail, fucking dickhead. Hail, hail, and welcome to the HomeBhoys live phone-in show. The fake phone-in show? Live podcast, what am I talking about? Harper, you fucking threw me off my... You derailed me there.
Oh, that's 2 weeks in a row, he's under pressure.
It's 11th of May. It's Monday the 11th of May, and the HomeBhoys are back for what is probably the third last show of the season. And here we are, ready to talk about more Celtic stuff in general. As you know, things can go all kinds of left, right, and centre on this show. So we got a full squad tonight. So no more me rambling. We get on down to it. We got the mayor of Wishaw, Jason Higgins.
Hello.
How's things with you?
Good mate, aye.
I believe you're in fine form on Friday night.
Mr. Larkin was in better form.
Ah, good to hear. We'll hear a few stories about that. The Asterisk Years in Wishaw. We got, of course, the king of the Rannoch Inn, Mr. David Harper.
I'm just glad you remembered I was here this week.
Oh, I know. Here, listen to the WeJ podcast.
Aye. By the way, that was noticed by everybody that I spoke to about that. They did Joe realise you were on the show, Harper.
He didn't, he completely forgot. He was rambling like a fucking idiot.
What the funny thing was,
I thought he'd taken me fucking 3 grams of cocaine before he went live.
what the funny thing was, like, I was literally going, right, Harper, ready to go, Harper, ready to go. Click, and we're live, and I completely forgot he was there. It was like...
I should have just went off because I wasn't required to do that anyway.
No, but yeah, you were good backup. No, it was a great show. Anyway, great show. Great having Martin on.
Everybody was listening.
It was a really good show. But I think it was well done, Joe, because I think you asked some amazing questions and stuff like that. I think it was really good.
The good thing about Martin is he's a good talker.
He's a great speaker.
You can just let him go, like, you know, right. That's what makes it good, like.
So, and of course, we have on the line the man who's coming very close, well, not very, I suppose very close to the end of the Asterisk Years tour. He's just been to Wishaw. He's going to Celtic Park on Friday, and then it's Viva Lost Wages in the summer. So, Mr. Paul Larkin, great away, ready.
Hello.
How are you, sir? Are you good?
I'm good, yes.
You survived Wishaw anyway.
Yes, thanks to Jason.
You need a handler in places like that there. You need a handler. You do. And nobody better than Jason Higgins. So, we are here. We are back. Full squad. Ready to go. Plenty to talk about. 1-0 win against Aberdeen yesterday. The Scott Brown show, a wee bit. I felt, it wasn't necessarily the best game in the world. But, being honest, that goal in itself kind of epitomised Scott Brown for the season. That box-to-box player, that, non-stop, that energy, and that's why I've called this show the captain. Because at the end of that game, I was like going, I said, see that guy? He's one of the best captains we've had in a long time. And it kind of just sort of struck me at the end of that game, going, that's brilliant. Because but for him, I don't think we're going to hit the net. So we'll get down and talk about that. So we got Lisa Haig, we got Charlie McGrew playing tonight in the development squad. We got a bit of Tony Stokes. We want to get into that at some point. And sure, you know yourself. We got Asterisk Years talk. We got all kinds of chat. Who knows where it's going to go? So, we start with Aberdeen then, lads?
Yeah.
So, we'll go to the game yesterday, right? I felt Aberdeen were out to prove a point from the get-go. Because I felt they played with a real high tempo. They did really well. The problem is, we defended so well. You have Van Dijk's, your deniers, even Johansson getting in there. And I felt we were troubled to a certain extent, I suppose, by the tempo they played and that they were so up for it. But on the other side, we were well up for the task. It wasn't necessarily an uncomfortable match, but then you have a Scott Brown goal who more or less won the ball, started the move, and finished the move. And for a guy like that, you can't ask much more from your midfielders in general. Never mind your captain. Who wants to go in on that first?
I'll go first.
No, you go, mate.
No, just what you said, the very first thing you said, I thought struck a chord when you saying you didn't think it was the best game in the world. And it wasn't the best performance from Celtic, but I thought I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a great game. And it's funny you said that because Boy Mark said the same the day he didn't think it was a great game, but I think he was more looking at maybe some of the Celtic performances. But I sat here totally enthralled. I thought it was a great game. It was end-to-end stuff. Certainly wasn't played like a game where there was nothing at stake, because there was nothing at stake really, apart from pride and that kind of thing. As you say, Aberdeen wanted to prove a point, and so they should be. Playing at home in front of their own fans, they didn't want us to just be up there having a party, which we would anyway, but you know what I mean, they want to try and spoil things a wee bit. But the stats tell the story, I think what was this, 39 shots on goal between the two sides? 22 for Aberdeen, I think, 17 for Celtic. We had 9 on target, I think they only had 5 on target. But the telling thing is that whereas their keeper had 3, 4, 5 great saves, maybe they were point blank, some of them, I can't really think Craig Gordon having a save to make apart from the one in the first half. And I can't really, we kept one in the post today. I can't really remember. I was I've been pissed for 3 days, to be honest. But, no, as I say, I really enjoyed the game. I thought a few players were maybe a wee bit under par. Maybe weren't getting going, and you saw Scott Brown's reaction after the Johnny Hayes tackle on Matthews.
Yeah,
he was like, as the commentator said, he went round every single Celtic player says, "Look, get the fucking tempo up. Let's get going here."
I love that.
So so did I, and I'm not sure if because I didn't really notice much difference with some of them. So, but it's at the end of the season, a fair, I suppose. You've won the league. It's human nature. We've all said that before. It's in your mind, but at the end of the day, they got the job done. And as I say, they never had a clear-cut chance, really, apart from the boys' header that he should have scored, to be fair. But no, in summary, I really enjoyed the game. There was some good performances. You say Scott Brown, Van Dijk was immense. I thought Izagiri was great going forward. I actually defended well as well. And I actually thought Daniel Fisher was really good.
Why?
Before he went off the cramp, which was a bit of a worry, cramp, 2 legs after an hour. Well, I don't know. We'll add to that. We'll see where it goes. But that's my sort of summary of things as I've seen it.
You said, Aberdeen didn't have any clear-cut chances, but they definitely carved a few. They carved out a few not chances. I would say, but got themselves in good positions. There was one in the first half when Johansson just stepped in when it could have been a clear goal. Just stepped in, cut the ball out, and away you go. It was that kind of level-headed defending that I was like, that's brilliant, that's fantastic, especially from a guy from your midfielders. And you have Scott Brown going and scoring the goal, and you're thinking, like, I mean, we're dangerous from the back to the front. Actually, we're probably more dangerous from the middle to the front than we are from the back to the front, because the front isn't that dangerous. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, your Hansons, your Scott Browns going in there. If you had like a gilt-edged striker in there, like a real box player, you wouldn't need them coming in with the goals. Even though
you can't say Lee Griffiths isn't dangerous.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, I mean, but
just did.
I know. I
just say the strikers will be dangerous.
Oh, well, not to the extent that we want. No.
I don't know. I think if you usually gives Lee Griffiths half a chance, he'll score. It's just the formation we play.
Yeah. So?
It's all down to the formation. I think we've all got to come and accept that. You never missed many chances, did they?
I don't think if we get a lethal striker, he's going to score many more goals than Lee Griffiths scores.
I think so, yeah.
Because I just don't think we play that way. I think they played. The tempo was good for a game that didn't mean anything. I've seen the seasons going past and we've had the league wrapped up, just going through emotions, and we've got humped in games like that.
Sticking reserve players and that.
And Deila doesn't seem to be that kind. And as I say, whether it was for Scott Brown, the two Scott Browns, they had an amazing impact in the game because their goalkeeper was out of this world. Some of the double saves he made, they were outstanding. You know, and he kept the score to a minimum. What I would say is, I think Aberdeen deserve a lot of credit this season, you know, because they've performed amazingly well and they've kept the title race going towards the end of the season. And obviously with far less resources than us, I think they've done really well. So I think they deserve a bit of credit. But Celtic are head and shoulders above them, you know, and I just think that there was a couple of things that stood out to me. Beaton was an empty shot. He was useless.
Definitely.
And see if you're playing a team that's battling, because they seem to kind of overrun us in the midfield, but they just didn't have any quality going forward. They had that shot with Barry Robson just past the post, kind of half chance. The header, the wee guy should have burst the net. But apart from that, Celtic weren't really that troubled, and Craig Gordon didn't have that much to do. I just think overall quality-wise, we're streets ahead of them. But I just think guys like Beaton, I don't know, see when you've got a combative midfield, he seems to be, I don't know, he's not the... We've slated him on this show before, and I do rate the boy. I think the boy's a player, but he was useless. And that kind of sort of held us back in the first half. We didn't really create that much in the first half. And I think a lot of it was done in the midfield, but Scott Brown kind of sorted out. What a goal! It was a tremendous goal. But I was delighted with the result, and I think Griffiths was a wee bit unlucky. I think obviously they were watering the park and stuff like that because Celtic players were losing their footing quite a lot, and I think that sort of contributed to us not scoring more goals because there was quite a few chances. Griffiths was kind of through, Commons was through, and they just lost their footing. And if they didn't, every chance we would have scored. But all in all, a great occasion. I think the Celtic fans were brilliant, and it kind of reminded me of the old days in the beach end with Celtic fans refusing to leave the stadium until the players or the management come back out. And that's great to see, getting it right up with Aberdeen supporters because they've kind of got a wee bit of an attitude now against us. And it was good to get around them. And well done, Celtic.
What about them turning the sprinkler on just as Ronny Deila was going
they lack class totally, and I think McInnes kind of does as well. He's kind of got the, you know, when he's sort of praising Celtic, it's done. You can see he's not genuine in his praise. You know, he's got that bit in him. So but get it right up a lot of them.
Well, you seen that kind of set to him and Deila and McInnes had on the sideline, which was brilliant because you can see Deila just has the wit and the ability to handle guys like McInnes, that angry touchline manager wants to get in your face, and Deila actually had the fourth official laughing. At one point, kind of not necessarily getting him on his side, but you know, kind of diffusing the whole sort of tension that McInnes was trying to bring. But you mentioned Aberdeen, like right. According to Sky Sports, according to the idiots of Sky Sports, they're going, Aberdeen have pushed Celtic all the way. Which, have they? I don't think they have. But then again, they're at 74 points now, which is what? 12 points ahead of their nearest rival, who's going to be Inverness, Kelly. So
where this time last season. I think they've got a far better points total than they've had in any year previous. I think they've done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. I mean, they could end up with 80 points, I think they said. So, I mean, that's massive for them.
And they've kind of cemented themselves as the second team in Scotland. You know, I don't think that's up for. Maybe Hearts could change that next season. I'm unsure, but I think Aberdeen are definitely. I think they've cemented themselves as the second team in Scotland, and it's a tough game. You know, I mean, all right, we've won the 4 games against them this season, but the games at Pittodrie have made us work for it, and so they should. You know, Aberdeen was always a really hard place to go to, but Celtic were more than good enough to win the game, and it was well deserved. You know, it was a 1-0 victory, but it was well deserved. There was none of this, like, McInnes, I think he came out and said after the game that he thought Aberdeen were the better team. Was that true? Did anybody say that? I'm sure I read somebody says Aberdeen. Maybe it was a couple of daft journalists or whatever were saying they thought Aberdeen were the better.
Neil McCann said it.
Aye.
Neil McCann, he will say that, right?
Aye, do you know, you just say yourself, what game was he watching? He's actually getting paid. He's getting paid to give his opinion for that game, and he comes out with shit like that. He's just get sacked on the spot. You know, it's just madness. How could you possibly say Aberdeen were the better team? We were nowhere near the better team.
Do you think we played at a very lacklustre pace, Paul? I mean, in terms of like the games beforehand, because I mean, we did have to work to kind of get the win, regardless of how Aberdeen played. But I felt
I just think that Aberdeen tried to squeeze the game by playing a high line. You know, they wanted to have an extra man up front, less man in midfield, so they tried to compensate for that by pushing the defence up, which we obviously tried to catch out a lot in the first half, and it was a few offside when we won the offside and all that kind of thing. Johansson broke through, so it was a kind of dangerous game. But I never at any stage felt that Celtic were in trouble or were not capable of stepping up a gear if need be. Yeah. I think our defence should get massive credit, because it staggered me in sports scene and stuff for people saying, last gasp tackles by Denier and Van Dijk. Say, well, that's their job. That's what they're there to do. And, it's kind of, there seemed to be in the radio after the game, it's this constant rush to praise Aberdeen for everything. It's like, let's go from commentator Liam McLeod, who's supposed to Aberdeen, to Richard Gordon in the studio, who's supposed to Aberdeen, to Willie Miller, who played, managed and directed Aberdeen. It's like, for fuck's sake. And it's like, give Celtic credit for nothing. Whereas, for me, the goal is one of the best goals you'll ever see in football. Yeah. If you're a young player, just look at that. 99 yards Scott Brown ran. If he would what was brilliant was, you saw the transitioning midfield players. First half, Stefan Johansson let Barry Robson know he was there, got foul for it. It was a great shoulder challenge. Yeah. Barry Robson never kicked the ball for 10 minutes after that. Second half, Barry Robson's lining up to shot, and Scott Brown just let him know, you didn't do that in front of me, son. And he's off. And leave them in their wake. And, we deserve immense credit for that kind of thing, because these are guys, we've had a long, long season. And the trophies are in the cabinet already. And it would be the easiest thing in the world to just switch off, as you said before. I particularly remember a couple of games at Fir Park 2 years ago. We just switched off and got hammered in both of them. And we went up to the second team in the league, and, we've won again. And it's the other thing I say about McInnes, I think you're 100% right about that, is that they constantly talk about Celtic's superior resources, which is, of course, fine. That's a fair point. But they never mention Aberdeen's superior resources to the rest of the league. You know what I mean? That's never an option. I mean, they've got far more money than Cali or Dundee United or St Johnstone, the teams are competing with, you know what I mean? But that's no, we'll not take that into consideration. I thought it was a brilliant result and good performance for Celtic, and I say the fans were fantastic. I think anyone who was watching Celtic in the 90s will remember how the Huns taunted us with we're having a party song, particularly at games at Hampden, and now the roles are reversed, and it does feel like one long party, and long may it continue.
Yeah.
It's good to see. I mean, like, pardon me.
See, one thing with Barry Robson, I think he was taken off before he was sent off. Because he'd picked up a booting and he was starting to look like he was losing the rag a wee bit. And he saw him when he kind of went into the dugout, he was still kind of fucking all red faced and shouting and that. But I think that just goes to this, and that proves even how better Scott Brown played. because they had them riled up that much.
Well, Scott Brown's temperament just seems to be perfectly in line with what you want out of a captain. I mean, like, remember back, say if you go back maybe 4 years with that sort of tackle on Matthews, he'd have been in there like causing himself trouble. But he was in there just with finger in the face, just like he was making a point. But then he directed his anger towards the referee, but not anger, but just like saying, "Fucking, that was a bad tackle. It was a very bad tackle. It was dangerous." And I
think there's times gone by, we've all said in the show that a lot of times we let teams kick us and didn't say anything or do anything about it. That wasn't happening on Sunday, that's for sure.
Do you know another thing that nobody's really mentioned, and I'm glad? Remember about a year and a half ago we were all worried that Scott Brown's career could have been over? Remember the injuries with his back?
Aye.
And, he kept doing... I don't know, what exactly was the injury? Remember he kept taking a rest.
It was carrying...
a hip injury. And it was complete rest. And he just seems to be playing all the time. But I think you're right, like, he did well, Robson. And, I thought Considine and Kenny McLean were very lucky to stay in the park and all with some of the tackles they were throwing in. I know it's the end of the season, but and you kind of think, well, doesn't really matter that much. But even like at the end there, where on earth did he get the 5 minutes injury time for?
Oh, I know.
That's a tap guy.
It's just unbelievable. It's just bloody hell. You've just got to laugh. But I thought the fans were brilliant. It just set the atmosphere. Some of the videos were seen as well. I just think and plus the way the players reacted at the end. Wee Griffiths and Brunny over to them, and just Griffiths chucking his strip in and stuff. Just brilliant, and just an all around amazing day for Celtic. And the fans were absolutely brilliant. So
I think as well, by the way, if our allocations I know it was cut for Sunday there, obviously it's getting cut for Tynecastle next season. If our allocations keep getting cut and Lee Griffiths keeps reproducing, it's just going to be his family in the fucking Celtic game. There's every away game, man.
And it's like you heard him singing Champion. He is loving it.
Aye.
He
was laughing when he was still in the middle of the park, Jason. Champion is when he's walking back beside Deila.
He's having the time of his life out there, and he's more than earning his corn. I'm delighted with him.
Absolutely.
It's just we're riding the crest of the wave at the minute. As I say, I've never seen 4 in a row in my life before. So long may it continue, and we're certainly not finished.
But how soon was it after 4 in a row? Like, I mean, for me, it was last week when Paul mentioned it on the show. I was thinking 5 in a row. Fuck, here we go. I mean, here we go. I mean, like you said, Paul, last week. I mean, when you have 5 in a row, you're over the halfway mark for 9 in a row.
Well, that's it. I mean, that is it, and that is pretty special as far as I'm concerned. And I think what always happens when to start reflecting on this, I saw an interview yesterday with John Clark talking about when he won 4 in a row with Celtic, and that was the kind of beginning of the end of his career because he was coming on and stuff like that. And to be gone for 5 in a row next season is incredible, and that's when it starts to become real in terms of actual targets. And as I said last week, the league win puts us 8 behind Rangers and 46 ahead of Sevco. So,
so I mean, even though we're meant to feel bad about this, which apparently, according to the media, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even read that, but I just kind of, I imagine that the media is just saying like, "Oh, the Celtic have won a game," well, sure, as they should, right? But see, go next year 5 in a row. I mean, there's no denying that. Like, if you win 5 in a row, there's no denying the quality and the actual stepping stones that it takes to get to that, especially over 2 managers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself, I mean, we literally, you say crest of a wave. I mean, it could get more than that.
Well, especially, I think, you look at our team, and we've all talked about this before us, look at the age of them, look at where they are, look at how they're getting better. There seems to be a lot of noises about Van Dijk staying now. I mean, I think the obvious thing with Van Dijk is to keep him for the Champions League, and then if we were to get knocked out, maybe sell him in January with 18 months left and everybody works out fine. Who knows about Denier? We're already talking about strengthening, and, I think I heard on the way back Willie Miller saying about, if Celtic get in the Champions League this year and the money they get for that, how does anybody catch up? And I just remember thinking, well, hopefully no.
Yeah.
Because I totally agree, Joe. I've heard this as well. But I'm not apologising for anything.
No.
I mean, I had a guy saying to me on Saturday night, You must want Rangers in the league next season or this shit. And I'm like, I couldn't give a fuck what happens with them. He's like, but you want to beat your rivals. I said, when have they ever been our fucking rivals?
Aye.
I said, my fucking target is to win 10 in a row, and we'll do it fairly and squarely. You know what I mean? And we'll beat our own record of 9, and that's it. That's my target. I can't give a fuck what they do. And it's up to other clubs to chase us. You know what I mean? Fair enough, Aberdeen are doing it and whatever. But, you know, we can't apologise for just doing our business properly.
We are funded totally by the supporters. We've not got any sugar daddy. There's no Russian billionaire paying for us. You know, it's a club that's ran, and the vast majority of our money is through season ticket holders, and we've got a far bigger support than anybody else. They put their hand in their pocket, so we've nothing to be apologising for.
We stuck with our club through the bad times. It's not our fault that supporters of other teams jacked it.
Speaking of that, Harper,
I mean, the Hearts and Hibs had big supports.
Oh,
it's a big city. Do you know what I mean? It's not our fault they didn't go to the football. It's not our fault they didn't fund their club. Do you know what I mean? We've done everything the right way. So now we're supposed to feel guilty about it? I don't fucking think so.
Oh, no, I don't feel the slightest bit of guilt.
no.
That's what they try to put. Like, this is so easy for you. You've got all the money. Well, where did the money come from? Do you know what I mean? Isn't a sugar daddy?
And the thing is, you never once heard when fucking David Murray was splashing the cash with that mob, you never once heard, they've nobody to challenge them. Oh no, it was lording it. They were lording the victories. So at the end of the day, they were spending more money compared to the rest then than we are just now.
Yeah. So, but, and you mentioned that as well, though. I mean, just to make the weekend was the anniversary of Smell Like Love. Like, I watched those videos again, and you kind of you watch the kind of half, like what was it, 3/4 built stadium at the time, just going fucking bananas, having stopped 10 in a row, and you look back on that and you think like we could actually supersede that in the next 6 years.
Yeah, I think we will.
How fucking brilliant would that be?
I know, because the pressure will start building. See, when you get to 6, 7, and 8, you know, the pressure will start building, and the players will know about it because everyone will be talking about it all the time. Although we're singing "Here We Go 10 in a row," and not just the fans are singing, the players' wives and stuff like that are singing it as well. So, it's going to become a reality in the next couple of years that's going to be the thing that is going to be in forefront of everybody's thoughts. And
especially the SFAs.
I tell you, but there's the thing, it's a great segue you said that, Harper, because I'll tell you why that's a great thing for Scottish football financially. Celtic supporters will pack every ground in Scotland as that gets nearer.
Yeah.
Celtic Park every away game. Who doesn't want to be part of that? Who doesn't want to be part of that history? You know, that's something you could fucking get 10 and walk away from football for the rest of your life and say that's it. That's all I need. You know what I mean? And it's incredible. And it's like, as you say, it's like Celtic have been building something for a few years now. And we've came out of this kind of fucking nonsense with Armageddon and all that kind of thing. And as you say, when it was happening with them in the 90s, they didn't give a toss. They didn't give a toss about anybody else in Scottish football or anything like that. And, you know, with the Celtic, as Harper says, you know, right about our business, fine. I mean, what's the big deal? The big deal, of course, is that we all know fucking, you know, a lot of people in Scotland fucking hate us. It's like, well, tough shit. You know what I mean? This is what happens when you're a big club with a big support that's fucking faithful through and through, you know?
Pardon me, I had a bit of wind there.
But the weird thing is, there's still Celtic fans out there that have got nothing but a negative attitude to this.
Mm-hmm.
To who I go on the message board still quite regular just to work on that, and some of the stuff I was reading today was like we're only losing a couple of players away from being a really bad team and all this kind of shit. Like,
but see these folk have got a bad attitude to life in general. It's fucking drains to society.
I hate you, Richard.
Just people that I don't want in my circle of friends. Because you say to yourself, just fuck off and annoy somebody else.
There are people that said one time that this isn't working and they're never ever going to say I was wrong. That's about the size of it.
Actually, you mentioned Harper. Somebody actually mentioned on Twitter this week that they went back and listened to the show where we fucking slated Deila and slated Johansson. Right? The thing is, we're open enough to go, you know what? we were completely wrong, as we have been many fucking times on many
That's
different.
not all be tonight. So there's about probably 3 cans.
Absolutely, but I mean, just you're right. I mean, like the way I look at it is, right. See if this isn't good enough for you, you're in the wrong place.
Aye. I mean, you support a football team. This football team is riding the crest of a wave. They'll say, but we're not doing anything in Europe. Fucking, we never done anything in Europe when I was young, boys. You know, after we got to the semi-final in 72, you're talking about early 80s. We had a couple of forays in the Cup Winners' Cup and stuff like that. But the early 80s, we had a good side. We never really done anything. Obviously, the Rapid Vienna game could have been different, but that was only the second round. We'd only beat an Irish team in the round before that. So you're looking at when I started going everywhere, going every week. Went to Cologne with a good result against them, but we weren't even winning we weren't even getting in the European Cup. We were getting in with the Cup Winners' Cup and the UEFA Cup. We weren't doing anything in it at all.
Well, I mean, I remember a period I went. It was never a European Cup. It was we drew 1-1 German Lekeren away in '91. Galloway scored the goal, and I was at every Celtic away game in Europe until Tyrol Innsbruck in 1997. I mean, and we never scored one fucking goal.
Right. Paul, I was just going to say that there. Those teams in Europe thought their name was Celtic now.
I know.
My first 5 European games away, we never scored a goal. But the first time I ever seen Celtic score in Europe was Amsterdam when we beat them. We beat Ajax. That was the first time I ever seen Celtic score a goal, and I'd been 5 times before then. Mm-hmm. So
swings and roundabouts, right? I was looking at a period, Celtic 60, 70, 70, right? So obviously everybody knows what happened in the 67. 68 was deemed a relatively poor season because we only won the league and the League Cup. 69 we won the treble and lost to AC Milan in the European Cup quarter final. And then 70, obviously we get to the final in Milan, we win the League Cup, and all everybody talked about was losing to Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup final that year. You know what I mean? And you think that's where I look at the generations, because from 60, 70, 70, Celtic were basically deemed as invincible in Scotland. Do you know what I mean? And then Aberdeen lost, beat them controversially, it has to be said. But it does come for this kind of and I think this is a Scottish thing. Like you can bet your bottom dollar if Scotland ever manage to qualify for a tournament again, they'll start fucking acting as though they fucking invented the game again. You know what I mean? And it just all comes down to that with Celtic. It's like, we need to do this, we need to do that. What we need to do is run a fucking football club that produces entertaining and attacking football and wins every week, and that's not easy. You know what I mean? That is not fucking easy. It's like all these half-wits that say you all the time, it's easy for you to win a league. I always say, how do you know?
Right.
You know what I mean? Your team will never win a fucking league. Right. It's fucking, I mean, that's nonsense. And so, you know, I just think, as we've said a million times, just bask in it, because, you know, I tell you what, you'd miss it if it wasn't happening.
Aye, you never know what's round the corner, you know. Maybe we've been paying EBTs, or the new equivalent, the naughties version of EBTs, and we're going to get caught soon. But it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you support a football team. The football team we support is knocking everybody by the side and winning leagues, winning cups, and at the end of the day, there isn't anything.
Some pretty entertaining football.
I think it's really good football, and it's like a new brand of football. Let's face it, we're watching football that we've never really seen before. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's strange, and we keep getting caught up. Like, we debated here earlier. Joe mentioned about we need a good striker, but if you had a modern day Gary Lineker, he maybe wouldn't score that many more goals than Griffiths, because he's not getting the chances. It's not like our guy, because we've got midfielders that are bursting in the box and scoring. We've got defenders that are scoring for corners. It's not like we're playing with one guy up front and everybody else is in the halfway line, and he's playing on the shoulder of the last defender and we're sending him through all the time. It's just not like that.
Well, I mean, look, one of the things I think is, we've talked about this a million times on the show, is that we play, every time we play Celtic Park, everybody sits into us, right? And here we are, we beat Aberdeen 4 times a season. Why? Because they'll come out. And McInnes mentioned it yesterday. We counter-attack better than anybody in the league. And they're basically willing teams to come out. Please come out, because if we take the ball off you, you're in trouble. And then suddenly we break out at pace. And I think that augurs well for Europe next season, where teams will come out at us, and then we will hit guys. And added to the fact that you're sitting there with Forrest and Mackay Stephen on the bench, who, whatever anybody thinks of them, good, bad or indifferent, have got great pace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're coming on at you 20 minutes to go is the last thing you want after having 70 minutes you're running about daft.
Yeah.
Do you know someone else I just thought of there, right? Probably Craig Gordon aside. Maybe every single Celtic player scored this season.
I think so, aye.
The fullbacks have all
Patrick
scored.
Fisher.
Patrick Fisher, they almost scored.
He had that chance yesterday, I know.
That's what I'm getting at, that with a goal, every single player on the park's a goal for it.
Ezagiri scored a volley as well, didn't he?
Because Matthew scored.
Matthew scored a
Matthew
steamer.
scored. I had Hamilton, yeah.
So he did that.
I read a stat the day it says that Van Dijk's played 5,000 minutes this season, scored 10 goals and scored 5 assists. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. Like,
He's
a centre half.
He's a tremendous player. That's the thing. Obviously, we'll maybe discuss it later. Who we think will leave and who we think stays. I've got a feeling Big Virgil will stay.
So do I. He said in his interview, I probably get players say these things, but he says that's 4 in a row now, let's get 5.
Aye.
And it's like Ronny Deila is obviously he's wanting to keep his best players, but I heard, I think it was in Radio Scotland he was talking, and he says Virgil should stay here because Virgil needs to go to the very top. He doesn't want to go to a lower league, a lower team. Like say he goes to the English Premiership or he goes to Spain or whatever. He's like, I want him to go to one of the top 2 or 3 teams in that league, rather than going. And whether they will take him on, I don't know. I don't know if they're right. But if what Ronny Deila, the way he badged it up was, if he has a good Champions League, he says he must have a good Champions League, and if he does, then they'll sit up and take notice.
Well, I think that's bang on the money. I think that's exactly the philosophy should be going. I think that's the plan that should be going forward. And I think if Van Dijk stays, we'll get another year at the Denayer.
You never know. I mean, Man City have only got to look at the progress that Denayer's made, and if they're not going to put him in the first team, they must really appreciate the sort of the way Celtic's looked after him and how his games come on and stuff like that. So I wouldn't see them having any motivation to get him to like a championship team or whatever. But in saying that, if I was your Aston Villas or Evertons or stuff like that, I would be sniffing about him to see if you could get him in loan for Man City, and you'd play him every week.
Tell me this, right?
But the thing is, for Man City, if Celtic can get the Champions League, that kind of experience for a Man City player on loan is invaluable.
I know.
That's the kind of level they're wanting him to be playing. Obviously,
I think they want their own players to be playing in the Champions League.
Tell me this,
you know what I mean, though.
Tell me this.
No disrespect to like say Villa and Everton, but they're not going to be playing Champions League football next season.
No, but fucking Man City are a disaster in the Champions League. When you look at the money they've spunked, they're just fucking useless. I honestly believe, gut feeling, that both our centre halves will still be there in the first day.
I agree. If I'm Celtic, I would just be saying to Van Dijk, listen, get us through to the Champions League, get us a turn in the 6 games, and we'll no stand your way in January. We'll no ask for crazy money. We'll 10 million quid or whatever, and then everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Give him that incentive. If he's desperate to go, that is, of course. I mean, you might just think, nah, fuck it, I'll just stay.
Aye.
But the ball's in our court. He's got 2 years of a contract. Yeah. You can sit there and say, listen, you want him, you better pay an astronomical fee for him. Simple as that.
And the thing is, as well, it's the type of thing they should be going to let guys like Van Dijk. I mean, he's out there. He's head and shoulders above most players in that team, right? The Celtic should have his agent in and say, look, see if we qualify for the Champions League, there's a $500,000 bonus in it for him.
Aye.
Because the amount of money you're earning, and it's keeping him there, and some incentive like that. Because at the end of the day, if he's leaving, the motivational factor is probably twofold. It's got to play in a better league, but it's money. And if we can promise him that money, and then he gets to move anyway, because he's still bloody young. I don't know the situation with Denayer, how they can. But obviously Celtic, they should be talking to Man City. I haven't seen that can happen. But
they should be talking to a lot of clubs and saying, look, I mean, I know a few of your loan signings haven't worked out, but they were loan signings where I think you're taking a punt on sort of more experienced fringe players, if you know what I mean. Whereas Denayer was obviously a young guy, never played first team football. We should be going to clubs and saying, look, here's your very best young players, we'll put them in the team, we'll develop them.
Look what we've done with him. He used Denayer as an example. I mean, and if you've got a guy that's never played a first team game to turn around as Young Player of the Year, he's been outstanding. Look at the goals he's chipped in there. Look at the confidence the young boy's got now as well. He's now a Belgian international. And you just say to yourself, that's Celtic, they've done that for him.
Mm-hmm. You should be using that as a selling point.
Aye. And it's not like, because we're not getting players coming here on loan and they're sitting on the bench and they're wasting away. But you're right, it's got, Champions League football is massive for us, you know. As much as we hate the competition and it's like sold out to money and things like that, if you can even just qualify for that, the rewards are unbelievable in monetary terms. So if we can keep our best players, you know, because I think the two of them are absolutely vital for us to have a chance to qualify. Because I think the team that we've got at the minute, if we didn't sign any new players, if we kept that team that we've got at the minute, I would fancy us to qualify for the Champions League.
Oh, totally.
With that team that we have now.
I wouldn't worry.
Right. I think Ronnie's got over the fact about Lee Griffiths now, that people saying that he wouldn't be able to do it in Europe. I think Lee Griffiths is one of the first names in Ronny Deila's team sheet.
I think once you put Lee Griffiths on a park, he's got a chance no matter what.
Aye.
For me is we need to add more firepower in the sense that you can't just rely on Lee Griffiths. You've got to have options like, and Sepovic, he's not had a lot of chances, but there has to be a reason for that. I don't think Guedetti is going to be there. I don't really want Guedetti to be there, to be fair. I've made my mind up on that, so we're definitely going to have to bring in more firepower.
I think you're bang on, Alec.
So Jason, well, you said that there. Then I mean, I'm really excited for next season already, just with the way the team is developing and that.
Yep.
Who do we see? Who do we see probably surplus to requirements? Stokes.
I would say Stokes will probably go. I'd say maybe Charlie Mulgrew. I don't know. I think Charlie Mulgrew would depend on if you're losing the two centre halves. But at the end of the day, Charlie Mulgrew is a kind of bit part player now. I just think
Matthews could be another one as well.
I think he might go. Who else did you say?
Adam Matthews could be one.
Adam Matthews, potentially. I'll be honest, this might be controversial. I'd move Lustig on if we could, because I think he's a sick note.
Oh, he's definitely a sick note. The two of them are, to be fair, I think.
But then, in that respect, then you don't want to lose Matthews, because Matthews is the immediate replacement.
Oh, you want to keep one of them, man.
But I think they definitely keep Azagiri.
Oh yeah, well,
we keep Azagiri. You keep Johansson. Scott Brown, obviously, he's not going to go anywhere. Griffiths isn't going to go anywhere. You're obviously Craig Gordon. You tie him up and get him in big money now, because he's vital. He's proved, and that was a big worry everybody had at the start of the season about his fitness. You know, obviously how bad the injuries he had in England, and to me, he's now been one of the biggest successes of the season. He's been absolutely brilliant, and we've not even felt the loss of Fraser Forster, and how good a keeper was Forster for us. And Gordon just came in there, and I think Craig Gordon, especially with him being and done it in England, and he's obviously no short of a few quid. I do think he'll stay with us to probably the end of his career.
I think so too. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, if Craig Gordon had made his reappearance in the Premier League, this would be match of the day story stuff. There'd be documentaries made about it. You know what I mean? But because he's in Scotland, it's like it's kind of brushed under the carpet. But I mean, the fact that he's come back to be not even the same keeper, because he's the best keeper we've had in how many years would you say? One? No,
Jake Foster was better than Paul.
I do. I mean, it's. I mean, yeah, he's been brilliant. I mean, I think let's be real. I mean, I genuinely. I mean, I do think Stokes will go, and I've got a sneaky suspicion Collins will go. Or not, to be honest.
Really?
I think. I just don't think it's going to. I don't think he's doing a long-term plan to Celtic Football Club. You know,
he's just signing a new deal.
I know, but I think that was just a way of getting money for him in the summer. Basically, I think.
That'll tell his wife.
Might be wrong, but. To be honest, I think she's got bigger concerns when he sees that fucking video. But I don't know. I just think that it'll be interesting to see what kind of player we go for up front, because the bottom line is I don't think it works. I'd never think it works when Johansson and Collins are in the same team. They're just not the same players. The two of them are kind of playing in the same role, but differently. And I just didn't think that either of them was affected. So I know Stokes was very, very close to leaving in January to go to Leeds United, and he kind of pulled out the last minute. I think that might still happen somewhere down the line, because I think he kind of needs a move, to be honest. He's been good, but I think he probably wants another chance somewhere else.
Team's passed him by, Paul.
And Mulgrew, I know Bournemouth are certainly looking at him. And I know that we are certainly looking at John Souttar at Dundee United. That's a definite, somebody that we're definitely making inquiries about. Chieftain, not so much. I know there's been things, but I mean, you've got to remember as well that, as it was said to me, the fucking Dundee United management and chairman would be hung if they sold too many more players to us. It's caused absolute mayhem selling two so far.
Right. The two of them have been amazing.
Well, it's funny. Here's one for you. Now, this might be controversial, might make you think, whatever. It was said to me by someone who should know at the weekend that Stuart Armstrong reminded him of a pre-injury Ian Durant. And I had to think about that. I thought, you know what? Durant was a kind of dynamic player who could pass a ball and whatever. And Stuart Armstrong to me has got so much to come for him. I mean, the way he went past that Shea Logan there, it's like he wasn't even there.
Beat two players, yeah.
Do you know who it reminds me a wee bit? Phil O'Donnell.
That's a good shout, eh?
Just with a bursting pace, and he's... I think you're right, Paul. I think he's got a lot to go in his game. I don't think Durant was... I can't really remember, but I think Durant was a bit of a silky player, but I don't think he had the bursty pace that Armstrong's got. Maybe he did.
Armstrong's pace is deceiving, because he doesn't look like a guy with a lot of pace. He doesn't look like a kind of guy that could open up and run at you, but he can. I mean, it's kind of deceiving in that respect, which is brilliant about him, because he beat two defenders at the weekend for the goal, and you're like, because you don't expect to see that from a guy kind of his size and where he plays, and he was more or less playing as a winger at the weekend, wasn't he? On Sunday,
yeah. And also remember as well, I mean, he's younger than Mackay Stephen.
Is he?
He's came into Celtic, and adrenaline gets him through the first month. Suddenly he's playing against Milan, but then all of a sudden the demands take over. Every single day you need to be bang on it at training.
Right.
Everybody knows who you are. Everywhere you go, somebody's wanting to either slag you off or get an autograph, photograph, whatever. It takes time for all that to adjust, but he will be a huge player for us. I have absolutely no doubt. And it's certainly a policy that, I'd like to see us have a predominantly Scottish/Irish backbone laced with a few good foreign players, and I think when you have that, you can interchange the foreign players, but your core Scottish will stay the same. You know what I mean? And that's what will guide you through league after league, season after season.
I would always advocate that as well. Right? Absolutely. I think you need to. And it's. I just think, especially with the market we're dealing in, and I think Deila's that's his strategy. I would say, that's his strategy, because he's kind of proven that. Because before Lenny was quite sort of adverse to going to teams to get. I don't know if it was his core, if it was above him, but he didn't really go and get many Scottish players. We always heard rumours about some folk that were maybe Johnny Russells and stuff like that, but it never ever materialised. But I think Deila, he kind of knows, and I think that's his strategy. Because obviously, if you've all watched the video of Deila, when he's doing he's talking at the seminar, it's a point he makes about people being happy at their work. And I think if you've got Scottish players playing in Scotland, there's a lot more chance of them being happy, because they're not away from home. And they're close by their loved ones, and they're getting into a familiar environment at their work. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. Because we were talking about a couple of things, and I don't want to mention any specific players, but there's a couple of players I could tell you about that's playing down in England, and they're earning big money, but they're homesick. And you maybe think that's like, how can this be? But these are young kids. You know what I mean? And they've not got any pals. Where they're playing, and my mate for Liverpool was in I'm talking about Scottish boys there, but my mate for Liverpool, he was in a restaurant, and Everton, the young Portuguese guy, and the young guy's on about 20 grand a week, and he was in a restaurant, my mate started blaring away, and he burst out crying in the restaurant, because he says he's on himself, and he's not getting any pals, and he's got nothing to do at night. You know, when you think to yourself, these guys, they're on fortunes, but at the end of the day, they're only young kids. And when you look at your Stalin Petrov getting a job in a burger van, you know, just to give him something to do. And I think Deila knows that. You know, I think he knows that. And obviously, listening to him, you could listen to the guy all day, but he says about to be effective in your workplace, you need to be happy. Regardless of what job you're doing, first and foremost, you need to be happy. And if you're not happy, then he's not going to get the best out of you. So him signing guys like Azagiri, your heart gets off to him, you know, because he's came to, what a strange environment. It must be somebody from Honduras coming to Scotland. You know, but he's took to it and he seems to love it anyway, you know, and I think all the Celtic fans love him, but I just think if you've got a core group of Scottish players, I think it helps as well, like when you've got Scottish players that understand the club. For any boys coming in, they can put their arm in them and they can maybe show them stuff. Whereas if you've got a squad of foreigners, because I remember, obviously Simon Donnelly can tell you this, but he told me years ago that when he signed to Sheffield Wednesday, that they had 3 groups in the team. They had like the British and Irish players, they had a squad of Dutch and they had a squad of Germans, and they never spoke to each other. You know, they played in the same team in the old Premier League, and they never spoke to each other.
I mean, if you look at like our generation, probably the 2 best players that ever came through Celtic, you know, for the boys' club and whatever, that we saw were obviously Charlie Nicholas and Paul McStay. And I think, well, so why did they have an impact? I mean, both of them were 17 and were fucking the best players in Scotland. Why? Because they walked into the dressing room with Roy Aitken, Tommy Burns, Danny McGrain, who just know how Celtic work and can tell you exactly what's required, and that's it. Roy Keaton, I know for a fact, week in, week out, delegated Man United players to take Ronaldo for Sunday dinner. Different when he was a young boy, 17, 18. You know, and said, look after him and all that kind of thing, because they all knew how good he was. And that's why now you see Ronaldo. I mean, a guy was telling me actually as well that he met Azagiri's first game at Fir Park for Celtic, which was August 2010, and he said to him after the game, he says, you're going to be the player of the year this year. And he was like, oh, he's not even speak English or whatever. And of course he was. Yep. And he actually remembered the boy. He's seen him 2 years later. He says, thank you, my friend. He says, you told me that, you were right. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's like some people, I mean, it's amazing. He's been here 5 years now. You know what I mean?
I know, he's part of the furniture now, isn't he?
I mean, that was the thing. It's like, fucking annoying. We'd go back to the negativity, but fucking sports, you know, it was the first time I'd seen any of the game on the telly ever. Michael Stewart basically like, well, Gordon will need to prove himself again next year. Azagiri's hopeless. Van Dijk and Denier's leaving, and Fisher's young. You just think, why do we even bother playing then? You know what I mean? Let's just get off football. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, everybody always looks at the negative stuff rather than the positive.
What do you think?
I don't think you can stress the point enough, though, that there seems to be a real togetherness with that team. You can see it. You can see it at the end of games on the pitch. They're all cuddling each other. They're all high-fiving. And you can see them when they're all comfortable with the manager, having a laugh, and with Ronny Deila when he comes across. And I think they all love the Ronny roar and everything as well. They're all in it together. There isn't anybody standing to the side. Well, maybe you could say Guidetti that one time, but we ran off the pitch apparently. To me, Guidetti maybe does come across as the one who maybe has sort of his own thing going on maybe in his mind and a wee bit of ego, but I think the rest of them, there's definitely a togetherness, like, you know, and a team spirit. And that definitely helps. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Like,
you mentioned that, Harper. I watched the training video the other day on Celtic on the Celtic website, and it was like Guidetti coming out singing, and then but you seen the players playing, you seen them messing around. You seen Bruni kind of having a go at Mackay Stephen, a bit of a laugh. Then you seen Forrest and Beaton with their arms around each other walking off the pitch, and it does look like a real kind of team bond. I mean, what you would personify as a team bond, guys getting together and realizing we're under a common cause here, and let's do it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, does the fact
Mackay Stevens the happiest player I've ever seen the Celtic jersey?
Yeah. no, he looks like.
He
looks like one of those. He looks like one of those 1980s puppets guys had in their fucking on their knee going, "Are you happy, Gary?" Absolutely. I have a big smile in his face.
This is fucking magical.
But the thing is, do you think Ronny Deila, being from Norway and not being a kind of Scottish mentality, not really knowing what he's coming into, do you think that kind of negates a wee bit of that kind of lads going into a Scottish environment? Do you think Ronny Deila is more or less taking it from being, you know, when you play for Celtic are the biggest Scottish club, and there's Scottish guys coming in, and there's a certain way things are done in the Scottish League. Do you think Ronny Deila the fact that he's not familiar with that whole scene might negate the whole fact of Scottish guys coming in, and it's more a football and philosophy now rather than an actual kind of, you know, you play for the biggest club in Scotland. It's more about the team, the football, and that's it. It doesn't matter, you know, the environment outside of that doesn't matter.
No, I'd totally go the opposite for that.
Would you?
I think Ronny Deila, because he's a visionary type and he believes in a certain philosophy, whatever country he goes to, he would fill the team with players for that country.
Yeah,
I think he just gets.
He knows how important that is for that club.
Aye, and he's got Celtic very early on. I mean, he's got it. I mean, I don't mean he's got. I mean, he understands Celtic very early on.
But what I'm saying is, but on the training pitch, like, and like, you know, for the guys, you know, the players in their minds, because he's obviously a very mentally sort of, he likes to get in their heads and make them develop a mentality. Do you think the Scottish sort of idea has anything to do with that when he's talking to them, and when he's implementing his plan?
No, I don't think Scottish psyche are fucking, you know, negative bastards. I don't think that comes into it at all. I just think he knows that he needs a core of Scottish players. He'll put his own mentality and his own philosophy onto the players, but he just realises it's core to have a local squad of guys that kind of they get the club, and it's easier then for other people out with the area. Because I think he's a big thing for togetherness with the fans and the players, and I think he realised the importance of having like a local core to help the togetherness and everything. You know, I just think it's a bit like, I just think he gets it, and to me he is a bit of a visionary. You know, because when you listen to him doing that talk and that seminar. Loads of stuff, it's common sense, but they're the best snippets. See guys like him that can convey it the way they do, and I'd obviously urge anyone that's not watched it to go to YouTube and watch it. But it's very, I just think it's inspirational watching it, and I think he's an inspirational type character, and I just think he's the type of guy. Obviously, me and Paul met him for an hour, but he's the type of guy you want to do well for him. You know, you really like the guy, and he comes across that way. And obviously, he's a very driven individual, but I just think he's the kind of manager that players, no disrespect to Lenny, you know, because Lenny's got a different style of management, but he's the kind of inspirational player. He's a kind of like, I don't know, he's the kind of Jose Mourinho type character, I think. You know, that you trust him. And I think he'll go into great things in management. You know, I just hope.
Did any of you see the press conference, the first press conference he done after we won the league? No. And one of the journalists says to him, "Oh, was somebody keep me up to date on the phone? You know, with the Dunganay game." He says, "No, we have the internet in Norway, like, you know." And the guy sort of made it, "Oh, right," and he was like, "It's actually a lot better in Norway and faster than it is in Scotland." You know, and it was just the attitude. Oh, in Norway, oh Christ, what's that? The Arctic Circle, fucking hell, you know.
Here, by the way, see that photograph of him and his daughters? I've never seen two kids that look as if they've been spat out of their father's mouth. They look just fucking like him. It's fucking unbelievable. I swear to God, they're the complete fucking double of them, the two twins. They're like, three Ronny Deilas, it looked like.
Right.
Only two way more attractive than one guy.
I know. But he's just the kind of guy, like, put it this way, right? Can you imagine, like, say, I don't know, say Liverpool sacked Brendan Rodgers and they came for Ronny Deila and he left, you would be fucking devastated, wouldn't you? I would be absolutely devastated.
Well,
because I think it feels like we've got someone really special that only we really understand. So it's not only us that understand it so far.
The thing is,
Aye. The secret's not out yet.
See when he does leave, though, we're back on the management roundabout, which I don't want to be on again. You know what I mean?
Because see, just to emphasise, stress that point even further, right? There's definitely an arrogance or a misconception that I think anyway with fans, the English teams. Joe, you'll hear it at your work, Matt, right? The tired old line that Celtic should just win the league every year, right, and just run away with it. And I can't hope that the English teams did it. English probably teams will be looking at it that way as well. Well, Celtic are going to win anyway, so there's maybe no paying attention to Ronny Deila. And it is only us that really see
what he's implementing here in the football we're playing. Do you understand what I'm saying with that?
Absolutely. And it's the arrogance sort of fans of English clubs, and especially see loads of the Irish fans, and they do my head in, you know, a lot of them. But I go into an Everton forum, and a lot of them are Irish on it, and it's like Celtic's the only team that can win the Premiership. I said, well, Chelsea and Man City are the only two teams that can win the English Premiership. I says, well, what's the difference? I says, you go and watch Everton. I says, they can't win the league. I says, so like an Aberdeen fan knows he's going to watch Aberdeen, but he knows they can't win the league. I says, what's the difference? None of them had an answer to me. Well, that's a fair point. You know, it's like, it's Man City and Chelsea are the only two teams that can win that league now.
Aye. And we all know why, because they spend the most money.
It's the same in every league. It's the same just in every league in Europe.
Aye, well, you Atletico Madrid bucked the trend in Spain, but they're back to normal now, and it's Barcelona or Real Madrid, that's it. You go to Germany, it's only really Bayern Munich now. There was a time when a lot of the teams had a chance, but Bayern Munich have kind of upped the ante now, and they're just winning the league every year. You go to Italy, Juventus there, Roma kind of put a challenge up, but Juventus are miles in front.
Right, so how is their league any different?
No, it's no. It's just people's perception, you know. They just like they concentrate on it, and they focus on it, and say, "Oh, if I can show you, it's only one team that can win it."
No, ours is different because we've got Pascal Ronny Deila.
He loves a fist pump and a roar.
A lot of the supporters buses that took it on the Spadeston bus, they were all singing at the full bus.
Here, it means fuck all until Lisa Haig sings it.
Hey, what about that?
Oh man, I've made my day. I was like, I have been like as if we didn't love her enough. Like my wife's sick of me talking about her, going like, oh, here, look at this video. It's Chris Common's wife, Lisa Haig, going, oh, Lisa again, is it? You know what I mean? But it's fantastic. I've never heard of any other football player's wife or fiance or girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, getting that involved in support. But it says one thing about her and another thing about the Celtic support. Because obviously she's.
See if you're saying that Ronny Deila was to leave Celtic, we'd be devastated. How devastated would she be if Chris left Celtic?
She'd stay. She'd be divorced.
And you can go back. You can go back to the podcast she done with Bolly Noel when she was on Desert Island Tims to hear how she spoke about the club.
Aye.
And you could just tell it was genuine. Do you know what I mean? She's just a genuine, down to earth lassie. And it's absolutely fantastic, and the work she does for charity and everything's brilliant. Obviously, we spoke about her on the VJ podcast, the stuff that she's doing there as well. She's going to be the manager in the game, and she's roped Paul Tim in to be her assistant.
I wouldn't say she's roped Paul Tim into anything.
I worked with a guy in Edinburgh. I won't mention any names of him, but I worked with a guy in Edinburgh that he worked with a guy whose wife had a stillborn child, and he says, see the support they got for Lisa Haig and Chris Commons, he says it's unbelievable, and he says his mate will forever be in their debt, you know, and that's something that they done that nobody would really know about.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this at the work today, Jason, like it was the anniversary with Oscar Knox, obviously, and I'm right in saying it was Oscar's family we took on holiday at the end of last season.
Was that?
I mean, they didn't just send them on holiday; they took them on holiday
with them.
Do you know what I mean? And that's just that just tells you a lot about the kind of people that they are like. And the more people are around about Celtic, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, aye, 100%.
But even that, I mean, like her doing like the bartending in Hoops Bar and roping in Matthews misses to do it as well. And obviously, you met him, Jason.
It was funny. I walked past when she was walking out the door, and some wee net nicked her flowers and ran away with them. And she was thinking it was a joke. Everyone with the wee guy in back gave her them. But she just embraces the madness, you know. And the fact is that she goes in supporters buses to the away games.
I love that.
She just loves it.
I love that.
She just loves it.
Fuck the kids. The kids can stay at home.
She went, I think the first one she went on was the Lisbon Lions bus. I don't know what bus she was on yesterday up in Aberdeen. But
the Neilston CSC bus. I don't know. Where's that? Where's Neilston?
It's the other side of Glasgow for me.
There's a somebody on Celtic Minded who's on that. Who they says they seen her in the ground yesterday. And they says all she looked like she enjoyed herself on the way in the bus up.
I love the fact she's standing on the bar going, you can never tell Chris Collins about this. I was just looking at a sea of camera phones.
She's always done it. But I'll tell you another thing, right? While we're on the subject of people having a wee drink in the way to the game, did you see some of the tweets for the fucking Grampian police?
No.
So they showed out the cachet of drink that they took off buses. They laid out in the grass as if it was like fucking gangs at New York, and they were coming in and taking machetes off them.
What was that?
Just like, how sad is this?
Like fucking
public money's going in these clowns to actually do this. You just say to yourself, what kind of society are we living in?
People used to do that during Prohibition, didn't they?
You know, it's football fans are the pariah of modern society.
There's their cops getting their pictures taken with one knee up in the air, like on top of the fucking case of beer.
There's not, is it?
They've got bottles of bucket lying out and stuff like that. If somebody's listening to the show, if they can see the photos, tweet it to HomeBhoys,
please,
so that the guys can get a look at it. Honestly, it's sickening. You just say to yourself, this public taxpayers' money's going in this. What are they achieving? Guys are out on a day out to go to the football, going up to Aberdeen, and they want a couple of cans on the way up. What the fuck's wrong with that? What kind of bloody society do we live in? It's sickening.
We'll get on to that in a second, because I think politics come up at some point during this show. I want to see those photographs. I really do. But that just sounds ridiculous.
It's like when the IRA gave up their guns and stuff like that, and it was Kalashnikovs and other lying out there. They've got like bottles of bucket and the odd can of Tennent's lager. I mean, some fan dan was drinking alcohol pops. You know what I mean? But I think as well, there was Coors Light, so fucking that deserved to get it to
That's exactly. You don't deserve to be on the bus. It should have took you off. Never mind the fucking drink.
Yeah, listen, I was there.
There was a moral victory.
I was quite partial to Mad Dog 2020 in my day, like I have to say.
Right. There was a moral victory. There was a moral victory in one of them, because one of the bottles of bucket they had was finished.
Well, then, that was a weapon, Jason. Once it's no alcohol, it's a weapon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck's sake.
It's bloody sickening, you know.
So, we're talking to Lisa Haig about Aberdeen.
Probably take all that stolen drink and give it to rugby fans on their way to the games.
I wait for the rugby buses to get pulled over. I know.
Distribute that to the rugby buses.
But it's all plastic glasses and mimosas on rugby buses. You know what I mean?
You used to see that, I don't know if you ever went or ever will, at Wembley. The amount of drink used to get taken off of Scotland fans in the 80s. They just got piled up and piled up and piled up. And I found out years later that it was all taken to Hendon Police Training Centre, and then they just kept it and swallowed the whole lot. Like, fucking unbelievable.
I know, it's sickening. I mean, it's like, guys, you just say to yourself, it's your civil liberties. That alcohol drinking is banned. I mean, it's a part of society. There's pubs everywhere, there's licensed premises everywhere. Somebody wants to have a couple of beers, but if you're a football fan, you're not allowed to. You just say to yourself, why do we bother at times? You know, we're all waxing lyrical about how much we love being Celtic supporters and stuff, but it's criminal that they can act like this.
And honestly, I would love, and we all know, because we've all lived it, I would love some of these people to have lived when we were all 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, got to football, because if you didn't have a drink then, you were a pariah.
Aye.
I know. You know what I mean?
You were outsider,
before the game, carry-outs, working at the game, you know. And that was just part of the thing.
If you're away with the Parker, their cans were in your hood.
I mean, I'll never forget, I was always a Celtic end guy in front of the number 2, but if we went to the jungle, it was always at the far end, just where the disabled fans stood, just before the Rangers end. And there was a guy there, I swear to you, every single week used to bring in vodka-injected oranges.
I remember that.
Fantastic.
The same majority of cops, like, I mean, I know a few cops when I was at school who became cops, and they're the kind of guys that couldn't get served the carry and all that, and they're just, that's why they enjoy it so much, don't they? They pals.
I'm saying, no, another one, a chap at the door.
I'm just reading here that Charlie Mulgrew has played 45 minutes tonight. Celtic got beat by St Mirren. I think it was 4-3 in a development game.
Charlie Mulgrew is just a guy that you've just kind of forgot about.
It's just
totally.
It's just, I mean, since he got injured, it's like, I like Charlie Mulgrew. He's limited ability, but I mean, he done a job for Celtic, Player of the Year not so long ago, playing centre half, but a wee bit like Anthony Stokes, who's still been playing, obviously, but I think the team has just moved on for them. Do you know what I mean? I can't see anywhere Charlie Mulgrew gets back in that team.
Yeah,
I know, Jason, you said if the centre halves leave, but they'll be replaced before Charlie Mulgrew will get that position. I think, no? But I suppose he's the kind of guy that, if he wants to stay, it's not costing him any money, and he'd be a decent squad player, I suppose. But you're not bearing more than that, like it's
Charlie, well, he's 29, like, so he'll want to do something. I mean,
he'll have to move. He'll want to play first team football, and he will get a move, as Paul says. Bournemouth will look at him. It's not we're not talking about the end of his career here, like, no. But he'll definitely get a move, and he'll play football somewhere, like, no. And good luck to him, like, no. And he'll go with your blessing and well wishes. That's for sure. Like.
Well, he plays central midfield with Tom Rodgick, right? And I don't see Charlie Mulgrew getting anywhere near our midfield.
Well, do you know what? That's an interesting name you bring up. There's a nice wee segue. That was interesting to see Tom Rodgick was on the bench there. 18 months since he last put on a Celtic jersey. Maybe we've not seen the last of Tom Rodgick. I can remember when he first came into the team, and I thought to myself, God, this is a guy that looks like he's got something here, like that.
Player,
I can remember people saying it. I mean, obviously they jumped ahead of themselves, and it's like a young kind of Paul McStay. You saw that kind of look about him, and maybe he could develop into something like that. But I mean, obviously it never happened for him. But he's went away on loan. I think he was back in Australia, was he?
He went back to Australia.
But it's maybe not the end of the road for Tom Rodgick, and I suppose that he's never been there under Ronny Deila. Maybe he'll get his chance if he can have a good pre-season next year. But it's an interesting one to keep an eye on, because I thought he definitely looked like he had something about him. Maybe he just wasn't up to the pace of the game at times, but he definitely had a bit of ability there. So he's a guy that could do well. And I'll tell you something else. I'm really interested to see Liam Henderson come back, because it seems he's having a great time.
Aye. Well, the Rosenborg manager's already saying, listen, we want to keep him for a longer time, like for the summer. So,
Good. And the thing is, as you say, see like Rodgick, it's an old lose gamble. You know, I mean, he won't be on amazing money. He's young, so at the end of the day, give him another shot. You know, but so what we're looking at, like, obviously, we kind of touched it. So who are we looking to obviously leave? So Baractor will probably be off. McGregor.
And all your watch.
Did we keep him? Zaliska, are we happy with him as number 2?
I hope he goes to.
Aye, I'm the same, Paul.
Being honest to God, see that Inverness semi-final? Did he get near any of the fucking goals? I mean, the penalty could have been. He would have been as well just jumping out the way for all he fucking got near it, man. I've had enough. I mean, you look at the boy at Dundee United that's there right now. You could get for probably cheaper than Zaliska, and he's a far better keeper. I know we'd probably go similar over Dundee United, but. You know, or even the boy Scott Bain at Dundee, people like that, you know, guys that are, you know, because Gordon, you know, he's the other side of 30 now, and, you know, he might not play every week and stuff like that. I'm just never confident when Zaluska plays for us, like.
Because Zaluska is a number 2. Do you know what I mean? He's never going to be a number 1.
It was interesting you mentioned Bain, because it was mentioned when we played Dundee that there was rumours that Celtic were looking at him. No, but he used to play well, actually. That's how Paul Hartley obviously knows him well. But up to Dundee.
I think guys like that just, you know, they know the league and they're on the upward trajectory, and why no? You know what I mean?
And who else then, Jason?
He's still there, isn't he?
Pookie,
Amido Baldy.
Fred Johnson as well. They can all.
But they'll be gone. Him and Tony will get away the loan deals.
I think the more interesting ones are guys that are kind of round about the team, like Ambrose. Will he stay? Will maybe come on? Forrest, James Forrest. I mean, he's a guy that splits opinions. Does he for his sort of own maybe career maybe want to go somewhere else to guarantee himself first team football? Because to me, he's not my first 11. You know what I mean? He's a great player to have coming off the bench. I just think with, like, say, Armstrong and Gary Mackay, Stephen, they've got to solidify that sort of wide areas of the team. I mean, I don't know what you think about that. I mean, Forrest is what a really interesting one, and Ambrose as well, I suppose, because they are guys that are first team players, but they're still the fringes of the first team. They're no automatic picks.
I think I like James Forrest, and I think if he gets he's been injury free for a while now. If he gets a good pre-season and he is injury free for a period of 6 months or whatever, then hopefully you could maybe see the kind of real James Forrest. But I still think the boy's a player, so I'm happy to keep him. Definitely.
As am I, but I'm saying, do you think they'll stay? That's what I'm basically asking. So I don't think we would get much for him, so I don't see why not. I don't think I think Ambrose will stay. I think he loves it at Celtic. And why not? BJ's my favourite. So can't have BJ losing two favourite players in 2 seasons in a row.
No, but
what we've got to look at though is if we want to bring players in, right? And I think we'll bring probably a couple of players in to try and take us on a wee bit further again. Ronny Deila type players again. We've got to make room for them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think obviously one name was to be mentioned and we paid money for was obviously Skepovic, and I think that if you didn't see him in the next 2 games, you can basically bet your bum dollar he's off because, what would be the point? If he's never going to play now, he's never going to play ever, you know what I mean? So you could get rid of him and Stokes, and obviously with Castle, Tonev, Mulgrew. I would agree, I would think that Lustig or Matthews will be on the way out because I think Fisher will start knocking on the door because I do like him.
The big start.
Never let us down.
And I personally, if I was to pick, I would say I'd be looking at getting a left back cover for Izzy to challenge Izzy, and a striker. And I think we'd be there. And if we kept the core first team, I think we'd be fine.
I agree.
Especially we could be looking at 2 strikers though, because if you're talking about Sepovic gone, Guidetti gone, Stokes gone, that only leaves you Lee Griffiths really.
I mean, I tell you, like, I wouldn't be adverse to going out and looking at somebody in this league that scores goals. The likes of Rooney or something like that, because you'll get them for, relatively sweeties. They're proven in the league.
And things like that, I know.
Rooney, I believe, is a Dubliner, so he's got to know about the club and whatever. So, somebody like that I'd be more than happy about, because I believe now that, and it kind of extends to what we're talking about the Premier League and why I fucking can't be bothered with the Champions League either, is you need to have the hunger in this game, you know what I mean? To actually do it, and it's like it's all these, the fucking Sky make this big thing every week about all these teams that are fighting relegation, and what a fucking comeback, this, that, next thing. It's like, well, what were they doing? What were they doing the rest of the season? Everybody's getting plaudits, and it's like I'd be saying to my players, well, hold on a minute, if you're capable of that now, why were you not doing it earlier on in the season? I think guys, you bring into a club like Celtic if they're hungry. I think guys like Brown and probably coming towards Griffiths and that, they understand what they can do at this football club, and in terms of the legacy. Scott Brown, he's going to be there 10 years by the end of his contract. That's a huge legacy. He'll get a testimonial. He'll be remembered as a great Celtic player, and that's better than pissing off doing to fucking, I don't know, Leicester or some shit like that, even Newcastle or whatever, I would argue that the reason why teams like Newcastle, Sunderland or that struggle, because they have to lose as a grandeur. They think they've got a big stadium, they're a big club. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It's,
they don't have a core, they don't have a captain that's been there for a while, and they've not got a core that they add to, and it's they just keep changing and throwing money at some, and there's no stability there, and I just think these clubs, I think that's a big problem for them.
I mean, you look at Newcastle, they had the top scorer ever in the Premier League for fucking 10 years and they still never won a trophy. And now they think the North East England is basically it's like Narnia football, how shite it is. Middlesbrough are running up about now. Newcastle, Sunderland, every fucking year. And it's because they have this aspiration but we should be doing much better than this. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. There are about 5 or 6 clubs in England who have a backbone of support. The Tottenham, Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool, Everton, maybe Aston Villa. And then after that, there are teams that have flirted with success. But these teams, now, and the Celtic is a team that's been like that forever. I mean, I read a thing about Bill Shankly. They were talking about winning the FA Cup '65, the first time in Liverpool's history. And everybody who knows football knows that Liverpool were absolutely nothing until Bill Shankly came there.
Yeah.
So it's a very similar era to Jock's team with us, except our history before that was littered with fucking success and glory and magic. And that's why, we just keep coming and coming and coming all the time,
Because that's how football is the one. It's the one sport that, say, like when buying Livingston and trying to turn it into a football team. This Inverness, Cali. I know I'm going on about Highland League teams. You can't create things that weren't there in football. You can't create. Football's a thing that's steeped in tradition, and you've been handed down from generation to generation. You start a new football club up, you've no chance. You've absolutely no chance. You're talking about this MK Dons and stuff like that. It would take 100 years for them to build up a legacy.
Aye.
It's a sport that is a closed shop. There is no chance of creating new history. You need to have to be a big club. You need to have a few factors. You need a fan base. You need a history. You need a decent ground, and you need like a catchment area and things like that. But it's built on your history. I mean, England probably bucks the trend that there is so many clubs that's got so big supports. It's like if you go to Germany or whatever, go a couple of leagues below the top league, none of them will be getting supports like your Bristol Cities and stuff like that.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So England is a country that's football daft. And teams like Grimsby and stuff like that can pull 10,000. But they've not got much of a history. But your top clubs in England, like your ones with a history, like to me, Man City and Chelsea, they'll probably never be. They'll win the Premier League and stuff like that, but they'll never be as big as like Man City and Chelsea will never be as big as Spurs. Do you know?
No, I agree. Aye.
I mean, they just won't. They just won't. It's just because that's it. And it's like Aston Villa's, they've won the European Cup, but they're still shite. I hope Liam's listening. Can't worry him at all.
I know a big Villa fan, and he's always going. I mean, he'd be fair, like, because he said he was, we founded the first English league, we won the first English league, and then he talks about how Aston Villa, the FA Cup was stolen for the trophy room one year, and with Birmingham City, I've never won it, so he always says, we've lost the cup more than they've won it. Things like that. And that's what it's all about. I mean, I was doing a year and a half ago Goodison and Anfield, and you go to Anfield, you've also got the statue of Shankly, whatever. You go to Goodison, you've got the fucking big footies up with the great history, and even Sharpie's goal at Anfield, all that kind of thing. That's what football is. You know what I mean? Fuck the money, fuck all the sign-ins, whatever. They're the moments you take to your fucking grave. You know what I mean? And Celtic's history is littered with that kind of thing. And it's why we survived in the 90s, because we had that we could look back and say, we came before and we'll come again. And I think some of the players now, and Ronny Deila, as we said, realise, Christ, we can create this. We can create this for ourselves. We could be the guys that put another milestone in this club's history. We could win 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. And that's it. I mean, Christ, we've all met guys who played for Celtic in the 60s and 70s. Have they had to buy a drink since? Everywhere they go, they're treated like gods. And and that's what that could be them,
Yeah.
Talking about
There's a wee quiz question for you. A wee quiz question when you mention Aston Villa, so they're winning. What's the most commonly game played in English football? Which two teams have met the most times?
I think I know this, but let anybody, if anybody...
Is that a derby, like?
No. Two teams in the Premier League.
Two teams have met more than any other teams.
Two of the longest serving teams in the top division.
So it's Everton and somebody.
Why?
Well, Everton have never been relegated, eh?
So they have. It was the 50s, but
so it's Everton and somebody anyway, is it?
Everton and Aston Villa. They've played each other more than any other team.
There's quite a few Aston Villa fans in Jordan, actually, just because of the colour match-up with the Claret and Blue. West Ham and Villa fans.
There's an Aston Villa supporters club on O'Connell Street in Dublin.
You'll be happy with the Dock going to win the league, man, eh?
Oh.
Oh.
Seen that? The Dock are romping the league.
Fuck Dundalk, Crapton.
Crap.
They're wrong for the league, they know.
Aye, but they're my fucking enemies, man. What are you talking about?
I know, but same.
No, there's no day. I'll tell you now. There's no day in Irish football can come close to Dundalk at the minute. They're absolutely flying. I don't even know if they dropped a point.
Is Richie Towell still there?
Richie Towell is.
He's the king of the
the
dog,
goal he scored against Bray last week. Oh my god, he's playing out his skin.
From
You'll
what I
remember
hear,
next season, probably he'll be in England.
He's the king of Dundalk.
Guaranteed he'll be in England. He's getting well paid for it anyway as well. I can tell you that.
See?
That story that was going about that the top Irish earner was on 40 grand a year. Forget about it.
40 grand a year. Not a fucking chance.
Richie, I can tell you right now, Richie Towell's on way more money than that. And there's plenty of the rest of them. Just a wee shout out there, the Drogs, my team are playing tonight in Cork and they're 1-0 up. They're 1-0 up in the second half.
Away from home, that's good.
Away to Cork. So, happy days.
Come on, the Drogs. Huh? The Turks of Ireland.
We might stay up yet. Only 2 months into the season.
2 months into the season. So, Paul, we should ask him about the Asterisk Years in Wishaw.
Aye.
Aye. It was good, aye.
Should we ask Jason? Who remembers most?
Sorry, what did you say there, John?
Who remembers most of the night? You're Jason.
I don't know.
I can mind it all.
Aye, it was good, aye. It's always a good... It's probably the third time I think I've been in the Cross Keys, and for any reason about that, I mean, it's worth going in just to look at all the photos that they've got up and all that. It's fucking fantastic.
Sorry. Cork have just equalised. I should keep my fucking mouth shut.
You fucking jinx.
Sorry, Paul.
And so went through, and myself and Jason were in Ibble Handsy, Shug Clark, Wishaw's on Morrissey, who was panicking as usual, and with a good bit batter with him, and aye, that was good. And we went through because it was been different to the last time I was in the Cross Keys. They had a divider up and all this kind of thing and whatever. But it was Shug. It was brilliant because he was kind of looking for something to do. So I was kind of like, all you've got to do is sit there at the computer and press play. So he's right, fine. So Jason goes up, does a wee bit of MCing, introduces me. I go up, do the introduction. Just at the last 2 words of the introduction, Shug got up to the computer and just walked away. So what is he doing? So I went back and sat down. We're all just kind of standing there. Oh, right, do you want me to press play now? Aye. So that was it. So Tom got great respect, good ovation. Had a great Q&A with a lot of laughs. To a lot of great people there. And as you said, it was last week, Joe, Jason is the mayor, so there was no need to try to punch me this week, you know what I mean? So it was really, really good. And even had a good crack with Jason's mate, Cammy, who I'd met years ago, Pillockey. He came up to me at the end and recited a poem for me, which was a bit bizarre at the first, but it was really, really good.
Cammy, that's bizarre.
Aye. And but lots of good people and lots of good crack, and it was a good night. Like it was there was no real hitches once we got going and stuff like that, and then they had a band on after it. Who I have to say there was one particular song I thought Jason could have sang better, let's say that. And but over and above that, it was a good crack, and
Wasn't it Viva La Quinta Brigada, was it?
Funnily enough, it was, aye.
Hey!
But no, it was good few jars, and then met Big Day Slavin and all that after who were at a thing or whatever. So and Johnny Mackay, all the usual crowd, and like Agent Mackay was over for Carluke just in case I needed a team for Carluke to steam into the Wishaw boys, but that was good. It's always good to be in Lanarkshire surrounded by Masonic lodges and Union Jacks,
Shortage on a bit here.
I remember being in the Cross Keys with Jason, and he pointed at about 3 photographs. One was John at Sally Park. He goes,
"Yeah,
greatest day of my life." He turns around about an hour later, our picture, greatest day of my life. Then an hour later, greatest day of my life. I was like, you've had some fucking life, mate.
Aye, that's it. No, it was really good. And and it's always because I've seen the film quite a few times now, and it's always good because there's always a couple of different questions, But maybe Paul's heard them all, but it's always you got a kind of different slant, and a couple of boys asked some pretty good questions at the end.
I mean, I'll have to say the guy, it was Jim at the start. I've never been asked that, which he asked about, I mean, some laughing.
Because he's a social worker.
He's a social worker. He said, how has your mental health been throughout this?
Yeah.
And, that can sound quite funny, you know what I mean? But it was quite nice. And he came over and after it, he says, I wasn't trying to take the piss. I said, no, I totally understood it and that. And, he'd been to Airdrie and stuff and whatever. And, that was really good. It was... people were really respectful in that, but it was obviously I've seen it hundreds of times, and coming to the end of it now, there's only 3 shows left and stuff like that, so it was a nice wee warm-up for Celtic Park on Friday, but I had a great time, really did.
So
I seen your list on Facebook. That's some amount of people that's going to the one at Celtic Park. How many in total is going to that, Paul?
340.
Oh, that's
300, bloody hell. That's amazing. That's fantastic. So it is.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be really good because we've been working secretly behind the scenes to make it as big a night as possible. And what we're trying to do is kind of, if you in brackets, Asterisk Years up the Kerry will sweet up a wee bit. So it's not just the film. There'll be other things there that'll emphasise what we're talking about in that. Let's say that. We'll keep it as a wee surprise. And guys like Richard Swan and John O'Farrell, Celtic Canvas Art and that have been working their bollocks off. So it's going to be really good. And obviously
David Murray in a gunge tank.
No, it's house party, Stan.
David Murray.
Don't drop that cabbage.
The one thing I'm going to, there's only one thing that bores me always with big dues that I'm organising myself is the amount of inane questions you get asked about them. So I've actually compelled them. I'm going to read them out on Friday because some of them have to be seen to be believed. One guy asked me if we were going to be showing the game, and I said, "Aye, of course." And he said, "Will it be the full game or just the highlights?"
Live highlights.
Live highlights.
It's a buffet part of the price. And, should I wear trousers? No, shorts.
No, it's a Hawaiian theme.
And every woman, I don't know if I look like fucking Jasper Conran, but every woman I'm going to ask me, what should I wear? I always say, well, nothing.
I can always remember folk were asking me now, what should I wear to this? I says, listen, it's Paul Larkin that's running it and he comes from your house in Edinburgh. He's not going to fucking chase you out the door if you've not got a 3-piece suit.
I said no fucking shorts, okay?
I mean, so Big Connor in Dublin says to me today, will we be able to get a taxi after this? I think so, unless there's been a full ban on taxis. So it is all that, but we're all in gear, and me and Richard will be the early doors to settle up, and I mean, in all seriousness, said before, it's a big thing for me. I'm never going to play for the club, so unless Ronny Deila's listening, but I can't really wait. We've come a long way to get this far,
That's amazing, man. I can't wait. I really can't wait to hear the stories from that night. I really can't.
I'm the same.
It'll be brilliant. I mean, to have it come this far must be amazing for you.
It is. It really is. And it's good because we've got things. Things are moving on to the new project now. I was away scouting locations for the next film on Saturday there, which was an interesting experience. Let's say that. The book is almost finished. I've pretty much done the first draft yet, so I'm really happy with that. It's the first book that doesn't really have huge chunks of my life in it, which it used to basically in all the books. But this book's not like that at all. The actual download of the Asterisk Years is going to be available on October the 1st. People are working on that site right now, and as I said before, the only caveat's going to be that you have to make a donation to the Keenan Foundation, and after that you can do what you like with the film. The book launch for the next book is going to be September the 4th. That's all sorted. We'll announce that where and when on July 1st, but I'll say now it's not in Edinburgh or Glasgow. And sorry? Drogheda. It's put this way, when you see the book, it's very apt. The location is very apt to what the book's centering on, basically. So,
London.
Well, close. But so that's all been taken care of, and then obviously we've got to Las Vegas, which should be good, and I've been gearing up for that by watching The Hangover 1, 2, and 3 over and over again. So,
Hey!
So how long are you in Las Vegas for, Paul?
a week.
A week, very good.
I'm in the LA either side of that, doing a couple of things regarding the next project, and it's quite good because the hotel I'm staying in I found out this week was where the Celtic team stayed before they played and beat Atlas 1-0 in 1966 before the magical 5 trophy season, you know what I mean? So, always wee bits of chunks of history in there and stuff like that. But
CLA, is that? So, is it LA Celtic Sports Club?
No, I'm not screening the film there, I'm just doing a couple of things because we're going to, for the next film, we're going to run a Kickstarter. We've got a set price in mind to raise, which isn't that much more than the film, and we're already working on ideas about filming and that. I mean, this is the film. The next film will be completely different to the Asterisk Years. I'll not be in it much at all. I'll be doing the voiceover, but I'll not be on camera telling the story because we're working on ways to get the main source in the film. You know, disguising the voice, disguising the aim, that kind of thing. But to get their words across and stuff like that, and we want to open the world up, which is why I was around parts of Scotland on Saturday to show the people and all that. And we've got a few revelations regarding not just the kind of structure we've talked about with the institutional bias and the recruitment policy that basically allowed the SFA to select any people that would want anyone but Celtic to win football matches. But huge games that affected Celtic badly or cheated in that we were perceived in, we can open a few doors on that and show what people done the day after these games and things like that, and what did these things that they did that influence the decisions the day before, that kind of thing. And we'll expose a few of the characters who've kind of lurked in the shadows over the years thinking they could get away with it. So, as I say, the book is almost done with that, and I'm really, really happy with that because, as I say, it's the first book where it's, you know, I've always wrote books where I've been able to come back to my life and show you an experience of mine as a footy bit alongside whatever story I'm telling, where I've not done that this time, which I'll no doubt pleased with, because what I tried to do with the Asterisk Years is to essentially write a story where I showed a parallel life, i.e. mine, growing up in poverty in Edinburgh, and then show the life's the Edinburgh establishment growing up in opportunity and the silver spoons and all that kind of thing, which a lot of people love, but some people absolutely detested and gave me all the, oh, who the fuck do you think you are, why do I want to do with you, or that kind of thing, which is fine. But, you know, you've always tried, whereas with this, I thought I'll change it round so that I'm writing about other people and other stories and their experiences, not just a case of, no opinions, the actual stories. And we're going to bring to light a few things that just show the attitudes of a lot of people towards Celtic. A lot of great stories have been given off the record by people that will ring true and stuff like that. And to provide anecdotal and factual evidence of an attitude that's been present against Celtic for, you know, certainly at the least fucking last 100 years, you know what I mean? And show that what we're up against and all that kind of thing, and show some of the I mean, you know, some of the things are absolutely staggering. You know, I can show things when the SFA forced Celtic to play 2 games in 1 day. I can show them when they forced them to play 2 games in 2 days, including the second game being at Ibrox. You know, things like that. Just these fly under the radar all the time. I can show, we talk about the 1970 Scottish Cup final, which any salesperson who was in that game knows Celtic were absolutely robbed that day. But I can show something that happened 6 months before that came straight from the horse's mouth that was a precursor to that. And just all these kind of things try and open up this world, because if there's one thing that annoys me more is that somehow supporters of other clubs in this country saying that we didn't have a right to feel persecuted. Well, I think that's wrong, and I hope to show why we do.
I've absolutely no fucking doubt you all.
Yeah.
Well, I've worked hard, and I've got a great source who has been absolutely fantastic. And I've basically been like a hermit the last, pretty much even, I've done a bit in Australia, and basically the whole of the month to me I've been writing. And it's been really, really good, and a lot of great stories, a lot of great support, and a lot of great photos as well that will show people, and a few people in different lights and stuff like that. And we'll reveal the cover and full title on June the 1st. We'll reveal the chapter titles on July 1st and the book launch, and then we'll be able to pre-order the book for August the 1st, and then it'll come out on September the 1st.
Is there a lot of photos?
There is. They're alright, they're already placed in. There's no graphs or mind maps like that. But yeah, some of the photos are really, really good. Like, it's amazing what you'll find. If you dig a wee bit, it's amazing what you'll find that amplifies incidents. Even the Josh Meekins incident, I'll show a photo for you that was posted somewhere 4 days before it, that kind of makes you think, I wonder just how much bias they actually were in this when they're posting photos like this. So, and as I say, I've got a great cover designed, which I'm sure will ruffle a few feathers. That's ready to go. So, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's probably the most enjoyable book that I've ever written, because it's kind of wrote itself, and it's a subject that everybody I've spoken to, and I've put some feelers out about the film. Everybody's got opinions on referees. Everybody. And everybody can tell you stories of referees. And none more so than in this area of Scotland. So I'm looking forward to it.
And
you know, I used to work with a grade 1 linesman. Maybe I have to talk to you about that.
Absolutely.
My supervisor, my last job in Scotland, was a linesman, and he always seemed to be linesman at Celtic games. That's what I still say. And I know for a fact he was a one-time Rangers season ticket holder.
Aye, well, I mean, there's...
His name was Charlie Smith. Fuck it, I'm not going to call it tell his name was Charlie Smith. and his real life, he had fucking glasses like fucking milk bottles.
I mean, I'll give you one right now. There's a guy in East Kilbride in the 60s called Jim McKillop, who was brushed under the carpet at the time, but the real reason he was entered to being a referee was the president of the East Kilbride Rangers Supporters Club. You know, and it's just, and this is at a time when guys like Jim Callaghan and Kevin O'Donnell were hounded out of football for supposedly giving Celtic one decision. You know, it's absolutely staggering, like, you know.
But see that Charlie Smith? I mean, he was a linesman. He was linesman when I was still working on him. He only packed in. You know the guy I'm talking about?
Aye.
He only packed in 2 or 3 years ago. I think. You know, he was a top linesman. I mean, he'd done European games. He went away with Scotland and all that kind of thing, and international games and all that. So, and I know for a fact he was a one-time season ticket holder at Ibrox.
Aye. I mean that is so prevalent. It's unbelievable. Like, you know, I mean, it really. It's absolutely staggering what went on. Because remember, like, we live in an era now where if you do anything now, you're going to get exposed. Like, you know what I mean? You look how long it took us to expose Hugh Dallas and Doogie Doogie and all that kind of thing. So you just imagine what went on when the cameras weren't on them, you know, and there was no internet and all that kind of thing. And the great thing is, a lot of these fucking half-wits that used to play for the Huns, they go out now and make after-dinner speeches about this and reveal the bias, the cheating and all that, and think it's all funny, you know.
That's a great laugh,
so that's good. So we've got a lot of that kind of stuff, and just brilliant. I mean, it's amazing. Like, you think about people like I think Guy on Friday. That's what my inspiration was for doing the Asterisk Years. I'll tell you one of my inspirations for doing this. It actually happened to me on Friday on the way to Wishaw, going through Carluke just before you go to the train station in Carluke. There's a stables and a farm, and the guy has got the biggest Union Jack I've ever seen in my life in a garden, just fluttering away. And I made a few discreet inquiries, and it's basically like, what's the story? And he's like, that's just who he is. I thought, that's my main inspiration, is to fucking show people that this is what we're up against. This is what we've always been up against. And, you know, and even flipping it around to show people who had to leave Scotland to prosper and became hugely successful in other countries and couldn't get a fucking job in this country, you know what I mean? So, what it really exposed that attitude, and the narrative being the SFA and huge incidents regarding Celtic that they had their dirty hands on, like, you know.
Sounds good.
Will the paranoia speak come to an end? It won't, will it, like?
Well, I mean, there's something will always be accused of, but I think And it's actually, I've not told them this, but there's a quote in the book that I used that Jason said, which I think is absolutely summed up. He said on a show 3 weeks ago, which was, we'll never get video evidence in this country because we'd win a treble every year.
Swimming trebles.
Aye, I mean, that's the be-all and end-all, you know?
I know, and it's like you hear ex-players talking about, oh, why do we need it? It's part of the game. It adds to the fun. But somebody making wrong decisions. Every other sport in the world just about's got it in now. You know, but football they can. But I think it's a bigger thing than outside Scotland. You know, FIFA and UEFA don't want it in.
I know.
You know,
and you know why? Because it's corrupt as fuck.
Absolutely corrupt. Aye. It's one game. It's the biggest game in the world, but it's absolutely ran by mafiosos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they don't even hide it. You know, somebody like Leonard Johansson, the power that guy's got is kind of unbelievable. You know,
I heard the thing about Sepp Blatter there. The only interviews he'll take is about women's football. He'll not take an interview about any other thing now. And it's just, I mean, it's incredible. And it's like, it is run like the mafia because everybody looks at Blatter and goes, how does he get in charge of beer? Because he does favours for all the people that matter. Yeah. And they all vote for him. And that's it.
And if you say a word against them, fuck, you're done.
Aye. I mean, as Jason said earlier on about England, right? Now, we all know, whatever we think English football, one thing we do know is they've got tons of great stadiums that get filled every week. And how many fucking big tournaments did they get? One in the last 40 years. But we'll go to Qatar and we'll go to Russia and we'll pretend that there's no corruption involved in that whatsoever.
The fucking World Cup is in Qatar. I didn't even know it was a country until they mentioned the World Cup was going to be there.
I think they've got to build 12 stadiums.
In the fucking blistering heat. How many people are going to... Fucking... The pyramids probably cost less lives. For fuck's sake. It's just... it's bananas. It's bananas. But again, like we said before, football is secondary. The actual sport is secondary to what's going to the money.
I know. Yes. I mean, you're right. It's a fair point with England. You know, they've had won European Championships and won World Cup in the past 60 years. You know, and they've got the ready-made, they've got a perfect infrastructure to run these tournaments. And that European Championships they had was brilliant.
It was,
right? You know, and for us, it's handy. You know, you can actually pick a couple of games, Elland Road, Anfield, Goodison, or whatever, and you can go to the games. You know, and it's like it's no tax. You can just drive down. You can see a fantastic game of football.
And the ground in the area is set up to watch football.
Aye.
So what you're talking about?
Infrastructure. Just saying how England, you know, it's like how they get shafted as well by FIFA and UEFA. They don't get any major tournaments. They've had one World Cup and one European Championships in about 60 years.
No, is that because of the hooligan element, do you think?
Nah.
No, that's fucking right. They're taking them to Russia.
Right.
You know, it's just because probably England don't count out to them. You know, they maybe don't count out to UEFA and FIFA. So I don't know, but at the end of the day, it is absolutely corrupt. You know, how many tournaments have like Spain had, or how many's like Italy had? Brazil have had a few.
Aye, and fucking Mexico had 2 in 16 years, or something like that. Aye, 70 and 86. I mean, it's, you know, and it's not conducive to play football there in bloody June and July, and it's fucking melting, you know. So
I know. And then you're looking at if you're in Europe, look at the folk. The countries that's round about, obviously your biggest attenders for these tournaments are probably your Italians, your Germans, your English, you know, and they all live in close proximity here. So it makes perfect sense to have more tournaments in Europe, but there you go. I don't know. But I've no idea how, I mean, obviously England are greasing their palms, you know, because whatever it is, I don't know.
Well, they tried to get... what's his name? Jack Warner bombed out, and Jack Warner's, I believe, is allegedly Sepp Blatter's fixer, like he's underboss or whatever, and he does all the corruption and stuff. So, you know, that was a bad move on their part. But I mean, it is.
Was he the one Roy Keane called a clown?
Aye, that's right. Aye.
He sent him some sort of letter on FIFA, no paper, something weird, and Roy Keane called him a clown. So,
when you look at the law, I mean, Russia and the fucking anti-homosexual laws they've got there in Qatar, you know, the kind of things they've got there, and Blatter comes out and says, I just didn't be like that for a couple of weeks. What are you talking about, man?
Qatar's basically, I've got two cousins that live there. I mean, he says, see the Filipino workers and stuff like that there, it's basically slave labour. All doing the, you know, the import in there to do all the menial jobs. And it's, I'm sure they've got some laws there that are a bit less.
Only you would have fucking people to go and see a football match in Qatar with.
I'm not even fucking anywhere near it.
I'm just saying, but only you would have the option.
Two cousins that live there, I can't really.
I'm not saying that, fucking, I don't know.
People everywhere.
Oh, that's all I'm saying. It's still the point. Fucking stands.
only you have contacts in Qatar.
Aye, there you go.
Close I get to Qatar, it's fucking. London.
Close like I get to Qatar is this fucking 6-string thing behind me.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bad jokes. Sally Sports Club. So we're on to what, 20? We're on about almost 2 hours yet. So anything less to talk about?
What was on your wee list?
Tony Stokes, his thing being a jerk. Oh, by the way, Jimmy Langfield called Andy Walker a bell end on Twitter, which is news, I suppose.
Aye.
Andy Walker.
Lucy's factually right.
That's probably factually correct.
Andy Walker made a mention on Sky that Aberdeen haven't got an actual number one goalkeeper, and Jimmy Langfield tweeted, "This is worth the fan I'm going to get," and in quotes, Andy Walker is and literally like an emoji or emoticon of a bell end at the end of it. So Andy Walker is a bell end. Which,
I actually thought it was interesting before the show started. You said to me, Tony Stokes is on trial. I was like,
you know, his trial has been adjourned in the
criminal
circuits. 1 2 1.
Drugs are doing it 10 men. It's all gone fucking.
Check stuff.
I didn't help the dogs.
I tell you, I'm just looking at the results here. Some game there in the League One playoff semi-final. My sort of English team are getting beat 4-3. Swindon 4, Sheffield United 3. I think Swindon won the first game 2-1, so that'll be 6-4 right enough in aggregate. There's some game there.
Who's your sort of English team?
You know.
Well, if I had an English team and I was pushed, man, I'd not got an English team if you know what I mean. But I'd my arm on my back in the Sheffield United.
Why? Because of Paul.
Because of Paul Heaton and the Blades.
I fucking knew it was.
Why?
I knew it was.
See, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I tweeted it out and I put it on Facebook. The video, it's the run up to Athletic Bilbao in the La Copa final. I urge them, just look through my tweets. I'll retweet it again and watch the video. The video is on for 5 minutes. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. It's like the build up to them playing Barcelona. And it's just see the way they've made the video. It's just phenomenal, and it just gets you going. It's absolutely fantastic. So I'll retweet it again. And
is that an official club video?
It's a club video. It's a club video, but you can't help get emotional watching it. Do you know what I mean? It's just amazing the way they've done it. You know, it's about the players and all that scoring goals and the lead up to it. Then it all goes dark, and it shows you like Barcelona scoring some goals, and it all goes dark with the music, and then it goes back to like Athletic when they won it in the 80s and stuff like that, and them scoring goals in the finals and things like that. It's amazing. It shows you the River Nevron when they celebrate, they always go down with the barges and things like that. So, and to the listeners as well, I'm going to do a wee HomeBhoys extra in the week leading up to it. I'm going to get Eusebia and Chilla John on, and they'll give us a wee build up to I'm going to play in the cup final. So I'll do a wee HomeBhoys extra, wee Athletic Bilbao special. And I know, because there was loads of good feedback for the last one, and I said to you, Seb, I was like, I definitely will come on and do it. So that'll be something to look forward to.
One of those rare times.
They're down to 9 men.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Here it
It's
is,
just a
Harper.
one peak down.
Harper,
What about, without saying what it was about, are you still doing another HomeBhoys extra you were talking about?
No.
No, okay.
Harper, by the way, Harper, I'm just reading here that Sheffield was Wednesday, you said, yeah? United. They've got a strong tie-in with St. Patrick's.
Probably.
They do, totally. So,
okay.
maybe the wrong side of the fence there. Yeah, I'm just reading, by the way, as well. We mentioned Liam Henderson. He scored 3 goals. He's played 78 minutes. So, doing good. Rosenborg. So
78 minutes. Happy days.
So, I think we're done here, folks. Are we? Good and bad. Here we're at Fat Club.
I don't know. Is there any point? We've only got probably 2 shows to go. I don't think I'm going to get a 2.5 stone off.
According to Paul, people in Australia are hanging on every pound.
Aye, they were. There's loads of people asking me about that.
Well, people sent them to me last week, and obviously I wasn't on the show. Clark has scored like games.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Anybody want to buy a cheap fucking season ticket? Best it is, right? Friday night, I had visitors to Scotland, and I was saying, you want to go to the games, pissing down my end, that. And they're going, aye, if you want. Like, you could tell me that, aye, if you want, it's no fucking piss. And they won fucking 4-2. Fucking the only game I wasn't at, and they fucking won. Fuck's sake. Why does it always rain on me?
Oh,
I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah, I've sent that tweet to HomeBhoys, right? So
I'll retweet it then, right?
retweet it, right? And I've just seen it.
Jason, I meant to mention you, right? I seen a tweet there last week, and it was the Athletic Club UK or something.
Aye.
Best of luck to Celtic for 4 in a row, Saturday. Hashtag upper Celtic.
There you go.
Right,
There you go. But anyway, I've just had a wee text where somebody must be listening to the show. I might as well read it out. This is not necessarily reviews of me or anybody else on this panel, but it's just for information purposes only, okay? Footy star Peter Reid, ex-Everton legend, has told of his pride over his granddad's heroics as an IRA member during the 1916 Easter Rising. Ex-Everton star 58 will take part in Ireland's centenary celebrations next year in memory of grandfather Patrick. Born in Dublin in 1901, Patrick smuggled guns for Republicans and fled the country after declaring for the losing side in the Civil War. There you go. Just thought I'd share that.
Peter Reid?
I do share the views.
Peter Reid's grandfather? Is that Peter
I was
Reid's?
on the fence, but now you're telling that. I'm all in.
Wow, I tell you. Here, listen, I've been to Goodison. I follow Everton as it is.
I'm going to see them on Saturday. They're in London. There you go.
That's a thing, though, Jason. I find myself sticking them in bed for my fucking sins, right?
Well, still better. You're shite.
But I was watching the Sunderland game the other day, and when McCarthy hit the post, I was like, "You fucking bastard!" I was like going, Higgins has got me. He's got me again.
How lucky were Sunderland?
Oh,
2 deflections.
Aye, so aye.
Everton are pish, to be honest with you. They're fucking rubbish. When you think to yourself, the wages these clubs are paying, you know, you actually watch the game of football and it's dire. You know, it is. I mean, see that the lower half of the English Premier League, it's awful. See for the amount of wages the players are taking out of that game.
but I know. But
Look at, I only saw the highlights, but look at fucking QPR yesterday. Gone up to a game, they've got to stay up. They fucking basically never even tried.
Aye, and some of the players are on 60 and 70 grand a week. There was an Everton fan on one of the Everton forums saying Everton should plunder QPR because they've got some quality players. I'm like, wait a minute, they get fucking relegated. That's Everton's problem. Roberto Martinez bringing half the bloody Wigan team. James McCarthy aside, that Coney and Alcaraz, fucking hell, man, brutal.
that's
Absolutely brutal.
it's a money roundabout, though. That's what it is. It's a money roundabout going, hey, you're next. You're getting money. It's fucking bullshit. Once you get in the mix in the English Premiership, you're it. If you can score a few goals and look good, you're it. It's weird.
Right.
It's fucking weird. So good and bad.
Good and bad.
I'll go good. I'll go first. Good has to be Lisa Haig on the bar singing "Here We Go" 10 in a row. Made my weekend. Brilliant.
Do you fancy her, Joe, something? Is that it?
My wife keeps saying that, right?
Yeah,
Like, no,
that's
I don't
nice.
say it.
I don't know what gave her that impression.
I just think it's brilliant to see a young lady expressing herself freely among open-minded folk. How about that?
Just a text for Johnny Mackay there. Send us that text, will you? That's it, send Johnny. There you go.
So, good then, Paul.
Good was the goal on Sunday, which was just a work of art, and 99 yards, and no problems at all. Brilliant.
Harper?
Good. Aye. I had, as I said, I had visitors this weekend, and the young boy just turned 15, Celtic fan. Celtic's still an Albion fan, goes still an Albion games. Used to have a Celtic season ticket, not got it now. But the mad thing is, I used to go to the games with his dad when I was his age, 14, 15 and that, so it was quite bizarre, him, with his mum visiting me here. Well, his dad wasn't here, But I wanted to give a wee souvenir to take him and that, so I've got, as Jason would tell you, I've got more signed tat than fucking anybody on the planet. So I gave him a
Is it Deerstalker signed?
I wouldn't give that away. So the Celtic Deerstalker with a Union Jack fucking label inside it, by the way. But I gave him a signed Celtic jersey to take away him, and I gave him my Jordan jersey as well, just to fucking bring it down a wee bit. But I gave him a signed Celtic jersey to take away him, and his mum was telling me he was on the phone with his dad the next day, and he was delighted and was like, I think it's really, I can take this away with me, and that. It just reminded me a wee bit when you were younger and that, and what that kind of thing means to young kids and that. So that was that warmed my heart sort of thing. So that's my good.
Very good. Jason?
I think it's just the Celtic fans up at Tawdry. Brilliant, and they seriously enjoyed themselves, and I was delighted for all the boys that made the journey up to Aberdeen, and they kind of took it back to what it was like in the old beach end, extracting the urine and having a ball, and it was amazing, and the players obviously responded. So just an all in all great day, and great to see Celtic sort of keep the pressure on, and it's still a big game, but in years gone past with previous managers, we would have lost that game. Mm-hmm. And Ronny Deila, he wouldn't have let the players take the foot off the gas. You get people travelling up there, spending good money, and the players, they dug it out.
See if we done a podcast special on the best away trips when you were younger and that, they would almost all be Pretoria. I'm talking about Scotland, not got Europe and that, but the days got to Aberdeen, Jason, as you say, the beach end. Amazing, man.
I think I've 8 or 9 times before I've seen Celtic win.
Aye.
We got 4 draws, 5 draws, we get beat 4 times, and then we eventually win.
Aye. And Jason, you were talking about the full beach end, and there'd still be Celtic fans as well, fucking the Aberdeen end, different wee bits, and that, go and see tickets. It was that much a big day. You're up there for 12 o'clock for a 3 o'clock kick-off. It's fucking great, man. Must say days. That's a show we should do sometime. Just talk about the best stories for away trips.
Mm-hmm.
Another good one for the summer, maybe.
I'll leave it. Loads of bits. I can't.
Leave it names to protect this. Well, fucking hell, 5 each in the Swindon Sheffield United game, there, man.
5 each?
5 each, within the last minute.
Fuck's sake. Right, so we're on the bad. My bad this week, even though it doesn't affect me in any way. Fucking Tories. Fucking Tories, right? And you wonder to yourself, right? Does it matter that much, right? But I think on a global sense,
what matters?
It matters. Obviously, it matters. Yeah, but I'm saying, on a global sense, for me, someone who it doesn't actually affect, you think, is this what we're fucking in for? Is this what we're in for? These fucking greedy bastards. These capitalist. Capitalism is like band shit. Capitalism works, right? But these heartless ball bags. It turns my stomach to a degree I didn't expect.
Yep. Right, sickening. That's sort of. I think the kid on Tory party for the last 5 years. You'll see the real one there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just. But the thing is, I voted. I don't care. Anybody knows. I voted SNP, but I'm not a nationalist at all. I just thought the SNP were more of a socialist vote than anything else. But I was gutted at the result of the election because the SNP winning all these seats in Scotland, it was immaterial. Because the main event, we needed Labour to win in England. As stupid as that seems, I'm voting against them here. But we needed SNP and Labour to form like a coalition. And It's that far away. It's unbelievable. You probably never see it again, because you look at the south of England, apart from in London itself, but the south of England, it's a Tory stronghold, and they're not interested in socialism whatsoever. And there's too many people obviously doing all right for themselves. That
see one thing I'll say though, Jason. Right, I do think that the Tories will. The fact that SNP have got so many seats in Scotland, right? The Tories will kind of work with them. I think a wee bit. I do believe that. Because it's the best thing for the Tories to keep Labour out is to keep the SNP in. Do you know what I mean? The only way the Tories can, the Labour can ever get back in, is if they could take half of Scotland back to get the seats up.
No,
the best thing for Tory was an SNP landslide.
No, because if you look at all the past years, the Scottish vote is actually a material.
If Labour could take some seats back in England, which isn't impossible, the fact that Scotland could boost them, and I think that the SNP landslide was a good thing for the Tories in the end.
I think it's actually got to the stage where, sadly enough, people aren't voting for a political party, they're voting for the leader.
Yeah.
Not Ed Miliband's
exactly.
Mr. Blobby, and there's no confidence in them at all.
You took the words from him.
So that's how they vote. They went
see one of the best.
Cameron's a more personable human being.
Exactly. They didn't vote for David Cameron. They voted against Miliband because he's the most unlikable fucking human being I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know if you've seen the picture of him when he was like 20 years old. It was going about Facebook last week, and somebody said he looks like all the in-betweeners at once.
Mm-hmm.
And he fucking does.
But it's the worrying part is that UKIP and the rise of Labour, and it's just...
Apparently they've actually rejected...
You look at Finland now as well, the fascist parties are getting in. And
UKIP were second in 118 seats.
Yeah.
Second, they only got one seat, but they were second in 118 seats.
And I think that's exactly why Labour lost the election, because they just didn't even think about the threat of UKIP. UKIP are taking a lot of the working class vote away from them. In a lot of areas, because they're saying different things in different areas.
Yep.
And now what Labour's got to do is let's back to the right, back to fucking Blairism and all that kind of nonsense. And it's the last thing they need. They're going to get some metropolitan dick running the party. But to me, the only guy that would be even remotely fucking good would be Andy Burnham, who's spoke out for a number of different causes, including the NHS and whatever, but they just didn't understand it. You know, I heard them fucking saying yesterday, Jim Murphy done a great job in Scotland. What's a fucking bad job then? You know what I mean?
That was part of the highlight of the whole election, was watching him just fucking fundamentally eat his words.
I mean, you're looking at where I live. Where I live is one of the strongest Labour majorities in Scotland. I think it was a 16,000 majority.
That's right, it was 16,000.
It was absolutely reversed, and the SNP destroyed them. I think Marion Fellowes got, I don't know how many votes she got, but they absolutely destroyed them. And you just think, that turnaround is astronomical.
Aye.
I'll tell you one thing, I bet you the vote was up as well, the amount of people participating in their vote. Mm-hmm. Because, see, when I went into the polling station, you couldn't get moving.
It was a 65% turnout.
That's big. That's big for it's a disgrace that it is only that, it should be bloody 90. But, there you go. But, batting the hatches down. So,
I can get a postal vote, because I'm still a UK citizen.
Aye.
I'm sure.
But no, if he's not registered living in the UK. I've seen that. Have you got a British passport?
Aye. See, like in Ireland, I can't vote in the general election, but I can only vote in local elections.
You can.
I think it's the same. I can vote in the UK general election, but no local election. But then I would have to tell them where I fucking was and all that. So fuck that. You know what I mean? there was a few grand left behind. I tell you a good wee story about that, right? I'll tell you a good wee story, and I'll not mention her name, but she was an assistant bank manager in the bank that I was in before. The week before I moved to Ireland, I got my overdraft put up by an extra grand. It just lifted it, it fucked up. She knew exactly what I was doing. She pushed it through for me. She doesn't work at the bank anymore, so no.
So you just openly admitted credit fraud on the internet. Fair play to you.
I'll tell you something else. I wanted a kilt, so I hired a kilt the day before I left as well. Put it in my case.
From who?
I'm not telling you.
Exactly.
So, credit cards and fuck, I left a lot behind. Let's just say the first 2 or 3 years I went back to Scotland, every time I walked past 8 coppers at Prestwick Airport, I thought, there's no fucking one.
The problem is, Harper, you're talking to Jason and Paul, who are both taxpayers.
Fuck them.
Anyway, folks, bad. Who's going bad then? Harper, you going bad?
I'll tell you a bad one. It just happened to me the night. I thought, no, it was like 9:10. I thought, how much longer is this show going to go on? I thought I could probably sneak in a wee gin and tonic. I finished my 3 cans. I ran down the stair. I said I was there for a piss. I thought a piss. I ran down the stair fast as anything, and I didn't open the fucking. The kitchen door was shut. I put the handle down, but it didn't open. I think I maybe broke my fucking nose. That's my fucking bad. It's fucking clobbering, man.
He's lying there on the floor going,
what the fuck are you doing? So, I just went by the floor. Doesn't matter.
I think I attacked the kitchen door.
That's my bad. It's fucking killing me.
Paul.
Well, my bad is knowing that I now have to pay me a tax because these fuckers didn't run on the island, like,
Well, they say, like, a certain amount of people have a certain amount of debt. They don't include Harper in there.
You're actually up there with David Murray, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I never got caught though.
You all knew it.
I know the some cunt listening to this now, fucking grassy.
By the way, Paul, he mentioned earlier on one of his friends was a lazy man. So I mean, fucking, this is all kind of tied
I'm telling you, the minute he fucking signed his name in the dotted line of that country club, it's all been doing hell for
I tell you that. It's all coming out.
One of my friends is a what?
You mentioned earlier on you knew a lensman.
Oh, no, I said he was my supervisor. He wasn't one of my friends.
Well, but how was your appraisals that month? Good, yeah?
My appraisals were always good, man.
Exactly! Fucking exactly. There you go. Paul, we're on a new project.
I think you really your football side or not, you would have said it.
Fucking tell you. So, Paul, you're bad.
I'd say that.
Anyway.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's fucking 9:45.
Right, let's go.
Jason.
What?
You're bad.
Bad? This show, it's doing my tits in. Just hurry up and get it finished.
You start sounding like your wife.
That's the kind of devotion you get here in HomeBhoys, folks.
Joe.
We're done, folks, for the night. We're going to play it with the HomeBhoys.
No, you don't give us your phone.
I fucking did. I said Tories.
Oh, so you did that. You started a big new
and I'm patient. Fuck off. So we're going to play with the Kano song because it's going on iTunes in the next week and a half, I think. The rest of the Kano, and this is probably the first HomeBhoys show.
And I'll be doing the parachute jump for the Kano Foundation, so I'll be putting my sponsor links in the HomeBhoys Twitter, so you can all sponsor generously. I need to raise a grand total of £400, so I'll be letting the listeners know.
Never let it be said that there's a HomeBhoys show goes past.
Mind the shin pads for your arsehole.
Shin pads for your arsehole. I love that.
Entrance pants were like.
No, I'm talking about for the jaggy bit at the back.
There you go, folks. That's kind of style of believing. So never let it be said that there's a HomeBhoys show that was passed without the Kano being mentioned. Wobatay the boy. He doesn't mention the Kano on HomeBhoys. Hey, folks. Hail. Good night. Paul.
Good night from me.
Harper.
It's good night
from him.
Thank you.
Good night. Hail, folks. Good luck. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Ever heard the crowd roar louder than you can hear? Ever seen a grown man reduced to tears? Ever had thousands of friends that would carry your load? Ever seen a sparrow in the air on the London road? I'll show you green you've never seen, you won't believe your eyes. Brothers and sisters on every single side. The smiles on those faces, you'll see them from far and wide. Tell me, have you ever seen paradise? Tell me, have you ever seen paradise? Ever been so excited you can't sit still? Jumped out of your seat, I promise you will. Ever had your arms around someone you never met? Heard them sing a song that you'll never forget. Ever had a love so strong that it's all you feel? Come with me, I'll show you it's real. I'll show you green you've never seen, you won't believe your eyes. Brothers and sisters on every single side. Smiles on those faces, you'll see them from far and wide. Tell me, have you ever seen paradise?